Crossy's working on his mic.
I have never streamed before in my life. How are we doing, everyone? Welcome back to the System 7 here at Atmo Esports. We just finished a lovely little race, and we have an update for you guys. So there may be, we've got some tentative results, as there's going to be a review on this race to make sure everything was on the up and up, but we can give you the tentative results and have a look at where our leaderboard stands. So, Red, take it away.
Yeah, starting off at the top, we've got Amarok's Fang with 73 points, Punch Nomies with 68 points, Delta Diatus Racing with 57 points, Catcom with 48 points, and Blackhawks with 42 points. Beyond that, Sire Racing Team with 24, Kuroda Racing with 20, Liz Motorsports with 20, Test Squadron with 15, Premier Car Colonial with 14, Alpine Storm with 13, Venture Origins with 13, with Nexus 9 points, Drunken Turtle Racing with 4, Novak Racing with 4, and Flynn's Rewriters with 2. So
yeah, so
we did also see a fastest lap there from Punch Dummies with Girl with an O, or with Herbie for 3 minutes 5 seconds.
Yeah, so that is where an extra point came for them. So once again, this is assuming that these points stand. All official points we always put up on all of our socials. So make sure you go follow us on all of our socials so that in a couple of days' time, you can get all the updated deals with everything that's going on. But this is where we're looking at the moment. So if this does stand, pretty big changes, obviously. Our top 4 at the moment, once again, Amarok's Fang, Punch Nomies, Delta Dias, and Catcom. So a couple of changes there. Delta Dias got pushed down a little bit. Punch Nomies still pretty far ahead for the most part, but Amarok's Fang in the lead now with 73 points. And that's going to be pretty crazy as we head into our next race.
The real top contender here, Amarok's Fang, the worst they've done in a race up to this point has been 3rd position. Comparing that versus I would say the top 5 really setting the gap here after Blackhawks 42 points. The best that Catcom has actually done is 3rd place. They've gotten 3rd, 6th, and 5th. So consistent in the middle of the pack, enough to secure them a 4th position. Blackhawks getting there with a 2nd and 4th place from previous races. So we're seeing some points, moving things around. Punch Nomies, obviously hungry for that. Delta Diatus also. A couple of 1st, 2nd, 4th coming in 9th place with race 1 we just saw a couple of minutes ago. So I'm maybe disappointed with that performance, but at least good enough to keep them in the top 5 as these packs start to separate themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Like the distance that we are seeing between some of our competitors now means that for some of our competitors to get into the top 3, it's going to mean back-to-back wins are necessary at this point. You know, pick yourself up, 75 points, possibly some extra ones from a win. But yeah, where we're standing at the moment, that's where we're looking. So well done to our competitors. As once again, we will say, this is a tentative, as we are going to do a big review on the previous race that we saw. But hopefully we're not going to have to do that for the next race. So let's talk a little bit about the next race. We're going to be doing, once again, some heat races. We're going to have our competitors perform in heats of 4. The objective is to get 1st or 2nd. If you get 2nd, you head up to the runner-up finals. If you get 1st, you head all the way to the finals, and we are doing it at Cloud Chasers.
Yeah, and this is going to be featuring the Drake Mule with a staggering top speed of 32 meters per second. So, this is going to be an interesting track here. A lot wider pavement area with good space to overtake. We saw in race 1 a lot of these teams getting hung up on debris, different obstacles within the track that caused some smaller areas, as well as running into other competitors with some positional desync and other types of hangups that might cause those vehicles to stall up. With the wider pavement, we're going to see cleaner overtakes, maybe a little bit less of the jumbling up on top of each other that we saw in race 1. But again, also with heats, going with 4 racers out there instead of all 16, I think we're going to see some cleaner runs with a 3-lap heat for each of those. So.
Yeah, not just cleaner because of the amount of people that are out there, but kind of like you mentioned when we were at a similar location just before, a lot more debris around. Luckily, this location does not have any of that. There are no missions that you can take at these locations. No like random exploded STVs off, PTVs off to the side, or random boxes of ammo or anything for you to mess around with. So it is like mostly clear as you go around. All you have to worry about is a couple of really small things that you can collide with, and then in some of the turns, the sides. Really make sure you don't fall off the edge. One of the coolest things about this this racetrack is right in the middle there. There is like a little jump that you can do that in the past has tripped people up quite a bit, slowed them down, but we have seen some racers absolutely crush it. So I'm excited to see how they do here today.
And the one thing we did see on track one, which we'll see here as well, those vertical elements, stairs, that ramp, any of those terrain obstacles, these ground vehicles struggle a little bit. So if you're not hitting it with a clean line, if you're trying to maneuver on top, you're likely to spin out. We saw one or two wonderful looking collisions here on race one, launching somebody 400 meters. That's pretty dangerous. We just had the one DNF from track one. So as we get a view here, it is nighttime. We'll have some spotlights from our camera operators as they work to manage that, and just nice scenic lighting on this track as the round happens.
Yeah. Now, also a lot less things for you to fall into as well. You would have noticed a couple of times in the race that we had earlier, there's a lot more sand traps at that location, so none of that is going to be an issue. The mule as well, at least in my experience in previous System 7s as well, has been better at recovering in a lot of situations from some of those types of collisions. So all we're really going to be watching here is the declining of speed. Any sort of collision is mostly just going to cost you a little bit of time. It's not going to be as drastic, we hope, as what happened earlier. Yeah, it's going to be a good fun one. So who is our first heat? Let's have a look. Our first heat is going to be Lease Motorsports, Catcom, Premier Core Colonial, and Test Squadron. We've seen J-Script for Lease Motorsports, Circa Worm for Catcom, Luce for Premier Core Colonial, and the Midnight Bard for Test Squadron.
Yep. And this is a new race for the Midnight Bard. We'll see these four teams coming across. We got some favorite vehicles. The CSV SM for J-Script, Circa Worm and Luce, both with the Cyclone RC, a personal favorite of mine, as well as the Midnight Bard with the Ursa Rover. So combination, some of those speeds, some of those maneuverability, and just plain utility. So these teams have a lot to come in with, hoping to set the initial placement, get into that finale or semifinal round to secure some points for their teams.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic one to watch for our first one. Also very curious to watch Test Squadron once again, who have been performing better than I had expected at the start of the season. So I'm hoping that continues a little bit more here. Maybe they can pick themselves up to some points and put themselves into the top 8. Heat number 2, we're going to be watching Amarok's Fang, Blackhawks, Corroder Racing, and Drunken Turtle Racing. So we're going to see Ian Rule once again for Amarok's Fang, Ludox for Blackhawks, Sanji Sama for Corroder Racing, and Pouncer for Drunken Turtle.
Yep. And obviously some favorites in there. Anreal coming in off of a very good performance on track 1, race 1 there. We'll see if that carries over. Beyond that, Ludox, Sanji Sama, and new for Drunken Turtle, Panza, that we'll be excited to see their performance on that heat. Going into heat number 3, we're going to see Punch Nomis with Shugo the Lucky One, Sire Racing with Neojet, and Venture Origins with the Yodelorian. We did have slated for Novak, but they have not. They've got a do not start here, so it'll be 3 for that heat. Followed up behind that, heat number 4, we'll have Delta Diatus with Space Tech, Nexus with Manus Lost, and Alpine Storm with Titch 86. So heats 3 and 4, really seeing only 3 competitors there. Maybe a bit of an advantage to get into that final round. Just don't have to be last there, but there is also that fastest lap time that is on the up for grabs.
Yeah, definitely. And in our last heat, we actually saw Gerber the Gnome get the fastest lap during their initial heat, and then it got beaten, and then they beat it themselves once again during the final. So we'll probably see a little bit of bouncing around here for fastest lap during this section of racing. Now, I want to talk specifically about Heat 2. Amarok's Fang, Blackhawks, Corroder Racing, and Drunken Turtle Racing. This is an absolute beast of a hit. Realistically, this could have been a finals heat. So this is a really, really exciting one to watch for a primary heat and see how they push forward.
Yeah, absolutely. They are. There's some good competitors in each of these rounds, but Amarok's Fang, Blackhawks, both within that top 5 group, trying to trying to create some separation. Now, I don't envy heat number 3. You've got Sugar the Lucky One from Punch Dummies. They've shown some great performance on these tracks. You've got Neojet coming with Sire Racing, looking for redemption, getting second place on the last track, but really having a 15th, 13th, and 8th place on the previous runs. So wanting to secure a few more points, and Shugo going to have to help defend for Team Punch Nummies. And then the Yodelorian from Venture Origins, they are out there kind of in the middle of the pack. So, obviously wanting to remain competitive. After today's race, there'll be 2 more opportunities for points, but really trying to defend that as much as you can, and keep that middle of the pack very competitive.
Yeah, definitely. Now let's go to a couple of as camera getting stuck there a little bit. Maybe they should be driving a mule. Let's look a bit into our racer profiles once again. Let's head over, if we can, to Amarok's Fang, as they did just get ahead in our last race. So we do have Dark Hour, Anral, Gravity Cat, and Big Flex. All from the USA. This team has been crushing it ever since they joined the System 7, and they're continuing to prove themselves once again this season.
Yeah, and Dark Hour with the wheel preferred control, and the remainder of that team with the Hosas. That's a dual stick combination. The wheel obviously is going to have a great opportunity on ground vehicles like this. Not your standard that you see in the typical spaceflight sim, though. So might be beneficial there as we're working on these wheeled vehicles, where the others might have a little bit more adjustment to do.
Yeah, definitely. But it is always a team to watch out for, so make sure you know these names, guys. And let's move on to one of their biggest competitors that we've seen throughout all of the seasons, Blackhawks. Blackhawks are a team that have been absolutely crushing it also since they joined the System 7 and continue to every single year. This team from Italy, we have Ludox, Spartano, Sonic, and Falcon.
Yes, indeed. And Ludok's going to be racing for us in heat number 2 against Anral, Sanji Sama, and Panza. So some good opportunities there. We saw Sonic in previous races as well. So looking to maintain. They're in 5th position right now, not outside of contention for sure. At 42 points, just 21 points or 31 points behind Amarok's Fang. But with the remaining races and some good performance, they could lock that in and really put some performance ahead. So.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the first heat that we're going to be watching today. So once again, Lease Motorsports, Catcorn, Premier Core Colonial, and Test Squadron are going to be the first ones that are running it for us today. What are you thinking, Red? Where's your head at with these particular teams?
I'm interested to see how Catcom's going to do. We've got Circo Worm here. They're in the top 5 right now, trying to remain competitive. But again, we do have the crowd favorite, Premier Core Colonial, who is going to be working with Luce 08. Test Squadron, the Midnight Bard is going to be out representing. We saw Renee earlier, so they're trying to get some better performance as well. And then JScript, who we saw in race 1 today as well for Liz Motorsports. We see Capcom here with Endermaster, Circo Worm, Balsamic, and Blue Barafina. We've seen each of these racers competing up to this point. Endermaster in the previous run, and Circo Worm. I think this is our first time seeing Circo Worm race today. But some great performance last races from Blue Barafina as well as Balsamic.
Yeah, Blue Parafina, part of one of my favorite moments so far during the System 7 in that final run there that we saw with those last 2 laps during the last heat race. So awesome to see them here once again and see how Capcom go. Of course, the crowd favorite for this first heat is going to be Premier Core Colonial, and we've already shown them. Calm down, guys. We won't put them up again. But I am really excited to see what Luce can do here in this first heat. Now, remember, the objective is really just to come first or second. As long as you can put yourself into the runner-up finals, you'll still end up with a fair few points. And if you want to get 5th place, which is sort of where the points start to drop off pretty aggressively, you would need to get 1st place in the runner-up finals. So you just need to be consistently good. That is the strategy with this particular race. You can't guarantee luck.
Yeah, and as we see these Drake mules moving around, the 6-wheeled vehicles turning on a dime, more or less. Yep. They have the forklift up in front. We do see them with the headlights. We're currently on the night side, and we'll see potentially a little bit of a sunrise later on in these heats. But yeah, as the racers get ready, lined up there, preparing for heat number 1. So
Not to mention, not just six-wheeled and not just able to turn on a dime. Also, as far as I'm aware, the only ground vehicle that we have that can turn in midair at the moment. So you can actually sort of rotate the vehicle, and if you are ever in a big jump, you can sort of guarantee how you're going to land. Now, unfortunately, this racetrack does not have particularly many massive jumps. There's a few small ones that it might come in handy, but we're not going to see any giant, trick jumps here or anything where people are doing 360s and whatnot. So it's going to be a little bit less relevant, but it is kind of cool that there is a vehicle that can do that in the game at the moment, whether intentional or not.
And with 32 meters a second top speed, I don't know how much vertical we're going to see on these vehicles. They like to hug the ground, but we'll have to see how they can manage some of these the terrain that's part of this track. So again, as mentioned, it is a wider track, a little better opportunity, and we see some debris out there being cleaned up. One of our previous camera operators testing the limits there.
Yep.
We do have dedicated vehicles to clean up the track to avoid any excess debris. And they are definitely going to go store that nicely. Definitely not going to drop it over the side of the platform.
I was kind of curious to see if they would go put it in their hangar or something. Off it goes into the center of Crusader. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to start off with. Now, obviously, we do have day and night cycles, a little less relevant here on these platforms. As you can see, they are very, very nicely lit up, as well as, of course, we have the torches from or the lights from the vehicles themselves. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem. It's not like where we had the endurance race where you're essentially pitch black the entire time, and you really have to rely on just like small shapes that you can see, your knowledge of the track in a grander scheme. All of that's mostly okay. So we're going to finish setting up the grid here.
Yes. The lighting situation over on the Clio Valley Pass was rough to deal with. We saw the snake pit with decent lighting conditions. Again, these platforms properly illuminated.
So yeah, similar to last time, we're going to set up the grid. Obviously, we don't have 16 races setting up in the grid here, so it's a little bit easier. Circleworm and JScript are going to be the leaders of our grid here, followed by Luce and Midnight Bard. And because you don't have too many people here, you're not going you are not going to try to avoid people right at the start. You're going to gun it for sure. So big advantage to Circleworm and JScript, but they're going to have a big fight as they go into the first corner.
Yeah, racers are delivered. So let's hear it in chat. Who is your favorite today? Are you voting for Liz Motorsports with JScript, Circleworm for Capcom, Luce 08 with the Premier Corps Colonial, or the Midnight Bard from Test Squadron? Who are you rooting for in heat number 1 to make it on to the finals or the runner-up?
Certainly, from my perspective, I'm excited to see what Test Squadron can do here with these teams. There's a lot of really good teams here, especially Capcom and Lease Motorsports that have done really well in the past, but a lot of teams trying to make more names for themselves and prove themselves here. So I'm gonna root for Test Squadron here. Like I said, they've been performing a lot better than they did during their qualifiers. So we'll see if Test Squadron can win this one and move on to the finals.
Yeah, my vote is going to be for Circleworm with Team Capcom. They're currently in 4th position, and taking first place in this heat would do a lot to secure a little bit higher positioning for the overall leaderboard, and really drive that competition up for the top 3.
Yep, definitely. Won't be too long now before we start. So once again, let us know in all of the chats, wherever you're watching from at home, who are you going for today? Who's going to take first heat up? And hey, if you want to, who's going to win the whole thing? Who's going to take it? Got a lot of different races.
Amarok's Fang, Punch Nomies, Delta Diatus, Catcom, or Blackhawks on the top 5. We've got our 2-minute warning for the racers. So,
one thing I want to point out that I am a little bit surprised by is During Heat 3, when Punch Namies are running today, they are running Shugo the Lucky One, not Herbie, on the wheeled vehicles, which is a little bit interesting. So we'll see. Shugo has performed pretty well in the past. We'll see if they have a little bit more consistency with the mule. It's very possible. And once again, showcases one of the coolest things about the seasons that we've had in recent memory is the team switching and how powerful that has been for some of our larger teams.
Yeah, and really, Team Punch Nummies, we've seen each of the 4 members up to this point with Shugo. The only one we've seen a duplicate of was Herbie with races 1 and races 4. So Shugo the Leica one getting out there to help represent and hopefully put some points on the board, help Team Punch Nummies keep things secured. And again, as mentioned, it's going to be a heat of 3. So as long as they can beat out Neojet and the Odalarian, moving on to that finale. But of course, it's anybody's game out there. So 60-second
race
countdown.
In 60 seconds, guys.
Right. JScript, Circoworm, Luce 08, and the Midnight Bard all vying to get into the final round, securing a significant amount of points. Second place goes into the runner-ups. Between 4 and 10 points there. We are 30 seconds away. Start of heat number 1. Race number 2, the Cloud Chasers track on Orison.
Yep. Now this is going to be 3 laps, I believe, per heat. It is going to be a much longer lap for the most part in terms of just watching them go around. But don't worry, all of the heats should go by relatively quickly, as it did the last heat. 3, 2, 1, go! All right. From my perspective,
there they
I timed that
perfectly. All right. We see 3 vehicles out ahead. Oh, and a Circoworm riding on that side. You see these vehicles, you got to be extra careful. A little bit of a bump there. We've got JScript out in front, Circoworm behind. Luce, the vehicles are handling very, very cleanly right now, just on the outside of this platform.
Now, not 100% sure what happened to Midnight Bard there. They also still appear to be quite far back. So not 100% sure what happened. They did not start with the rest of the teams, as far as I could tell. Luce. Oh, that is not a place you want to bounce.
Oh. Recovers from the skin of his teeth.
Such a save.
That was amazing.
I mean, you should have fallen off. It would have been really funny, but I'm very glad you didn't for your own sake.
You'd hate to see it on lap 1.
Cost you a ton of time there.
Yeah. Let me see JScript up in front, Circoworm coming in behind. So we see Liz Motorsports ahead, Catcom. That was Luce with Premier Core, and Test Squadron Midnight Bard coming in behind. We have not seen an update yet.
Yeah, no, we certainly haven't, but JScript is getting a much bigger lead there against Circoworm. Oh, never mind. Oh, it's that collision. There is one really annoying collision that you can get there just as you come into that corner. So JScript is going to lose that lead, and Circoworm is going to take back the lead. We've got first place Circoworm, second place JScript. We'll see where the rest of these teams are as we come around this corner here, about midway through the lap.
And you hug that edge as you go. This landing pad, you cut a little tight. Come around for the additional side here, and we do see the Midnight Bard back there. So progressing on the track, but quite a bit behind right now. That rough start.
Now,
these racers,
I notably, as we did that turnaround, did not see Luce. Did you see Luce?
I did not see Luce. Keeping my eye out though.
that is concerning. Luce. Oh, there we go. There we go. Was just a little bit behind. All right, so
just
Luce
passing
still very
JScript
much
now.
In third place. Yep. Pushes into second place. So a bit of
Pushes
a problem
into
there
second.
for JScript, losing leads over and over again now from a couple of bad turns is going to be very unfortunate, but ton of time left. Midnight Bard well and truly in the race now, still very far behind, but plenty of time to come back. And if these issues keep happening with JScript or with Luce right there, Luce slowed down a ton, then that's gonna make it.
Luce is upside down right now. Right after that bump, as mentioned, that little ramp in the middle
Yeah, if you don't hit that
driving a
correctly, you are going
differentiator.
to end up off the side most of the time. So you got to be really careful there to make sure you don't lose a ton of time. And look how far ahead Circo Worm is now. Just insane.
Yeah, Team Catcom is going to be really happy with that. All the way down and around, cleaning up that track, that run here. As we see JScript going a little wide there. You got to be very careful on the edge of these platforms. But
Yep.
yeah, there we go. Fastest lap right now, 3 minutes, 13 seconds. That's a little bit behind the expected best of about 3 minutes, 2 seconds. But we'll see them clean that up with lap number 2. Here's Circo Worm out ahead, claiming first spot for now. JScript, Circo Worm, and yeah, they are working on those laps. Liz Motorsports, 3 minutes 31. That there is JScript for second position.
Luce about 9 seconds behind Lease Motorsports. Obviously, we're still going to be waiting on Midnight Bard, but they were about half a lap behind a little bit earlier. So we're going to be waiting a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm really curious what happened with the start of them this race, as they essentially they did not start. We saw that right at the beginning. Is they were just sort of sitting behind. Not sure what happened there.
Yeah, maybe an input issue or a vehicle readiness problem. But recovered and was able to at least get moving. To here we see them as they cross in, and this is that ramp in the center section you were talking about. Circle ending upside down.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Now,
luckily, it's still one of the vehicles that does auto right itself when it does collide with things. So you do end up coming back, but obviously, once again, you lose a ton of time there. So this is going to give Lease Motorsports and Premier Core Colonial an opportunity to bring it back in.
And just after that ramp, we saw the Midnight Bard maybe going a little bit off track, getting kind of on the far right side as he's approaching the turnaround point. So,
yep, Circo Worm halfway through lap number 2, which means halfway through the race, as well as JScript's going to come around and is much closer to Circo Worm than they were a little bit ago. So I think you really need one more mistake from Circo Worm, and we might. Well, unfortunately, maybe two more mistakes. Maybe 2 more mistakes from Circo Worm as JScript. Oh no! Oh, thank God.
Okay, desync there. We nearly
Read
saw.
My heart.
You know, sometimes the game tricks us like that, but that would have been a spectacular finish off into the abyss as JScript maneuvering between these platforms, coming up on this hard right turn. As we mentioned, Circo Worm up there, trying to keep track. Seeing a little bit of difficulty as they make that right turn, come back over to the ramp, cutting wide or narrow on that larger tree, and we see the Midnight Bard coming in behind.
There you go. That's how Circo Worm very possibly might have been able to avoid a lot of the issues. Instead of going for the ramp, opts to go for like the little dip there, the little I don't know what you call it, like a little trench, which can end up pretty bad for you. It can end up flipping you around, but they're able to maintain speed and they don't have to worry about many of the issues that happen with the ramp. Unfortunately, JScript still though right on top of them and is going to make an attack very, very soon on Circo Worm.
Yeah, and they're battling it out for the finale round here. Team Catcom and yeah, JScript, Circo Worm, Team Catcom, and Liz Motorsports. Hoping to make that first and second position.
Luce about 10 to 15 seconds behind them as well. We're actually probably closer to 20, but still a fair bit behind. One more lap to go. Circo Worm crosses the finish line. That is 1.666 seconds between these two competitors.
Yeah, and you've got to watch that handling as they are on the edge of this platform, trying to hold on. This is one of those risks. These platforms, no railings, no safety netting below. So if you go off the side, you are doomed. So Premier Core coming in, completing this lap now, looks like, with Luce, as we saw, barely surviving that initial. And there we see the Midnight Bard back behind Circo Worm and JScript passing through. So Circo Worm still leading ahead, but JScript hungry for it. There's a huge difference in points here. A maximum of 10 versus the max 25 for the finale round. So Circo Worm, JScript, they're duking it out right now. As are our camera crews trying to keep track of both of these racers during this heat.
Yeah, there we go.
The vehicles have been handling really well.
Yes.
We see them right
mule,
on top of
the
each
mule
other.
is one of the better vehicles with ground handling at the moment. It has some quirks, just like every other vehicle does in StarCitizen.
But yeah, great handling with the limited number of players out here as well. Not nearly as many collisions. We've seen a couple of folks go tails up, but the vehicle's recovering quickly. Seemingly no problems there. Circle Worm going wide outside, hitting the flat part of this platform. Now that's the strategy. You avoid a lot of the planter beds, and the grass is just kind of an uneven bit of terrain. You go for either
Not to
the
mention, there's a
paved
lot
or
of
that.
you can sort of barely see. There's a lot of like really tiny lights alongside the paving, and usually they have collision. So if you end up running into one of those, you'll end up spinning out. You'll end up flipping around. It can be really bad.
Yeah, I'm managing this hard right turn. We may have seen a slight collision there between JScript, losing some speed, Circle Worm coming in, and hitting that dip just to the side instead of the whole stairway.
Yep. Now,
Cutting
pretty
that
much
corner.
this entire lap, JScript and Circle Worm have been on top of each other now as they come into the final major turn. But JScript with almost on the
losing
attack,
his handling.
has a problem. Yep, has a problem with the jump, with the ramp, and I think that is over, at least for the first place options there.
And we see Circle Worm looping the corner, coming back in for the final stretch to lock in first place. So JScript obviously disappointed with that handling. We see the Midnight Bard working on lap number 2, taking that turn kind of carefully. But yeah, Circle Worm up in the front for that first place finish. We see them off to the left side here. As they
Heat number 1 is going to be Circle Worm from Catcom with a fastest lap of 3 minutes and 5 seconds. And there we go. Premier Core Colonial. Luce has fallen off the side, which means, unfortunately, that's going to be a do not finish for them, as JScript of Least Motorsports also come across the finish line to lock in second place. So they are going to be heading on to the runner-up finals. Catcom on to the finals, and Midnight Bard going to come around for the finish.
Yeah, and unlucky Luce. We saw it at the beginning of the race, nearly fell into the drink, and unfortunately, here at the end, succumbing to the edge of those platforms. The Midnight Bard on lap 2 will follow them as they complete. Just need to run the lap cleanly now and finish up for third place in this heat. So, first place, Catcom, second place, Liz Motorsports.
Yep. Now remember, even though the positioning here doesn't allow them into the runner-up finals or the finals, 9th and 10th places still get some additional points. So you do want to make sure that you can, score up a little bit of time, regardless of whether or not you're going to make first and second. So we're going to watch Midnight Bard go around here, see if they can maybe also go for a fastest lap of the day as well. Is also still up for grabs, which is nice. It means that even if you're in these situations where
oh no!
That we're good.
Okay.
Even if you're in these situations,
there.
I just decided to stop talking, and I was just hoping that it would fix itself. Even if you're in these situations where it's like you can't get the runner-up or the finals, well, at least you still have something to compete for and something to get points for.
Yeah, aiming for at least that second, 9th or 10th place for that bonus additional point there, helping Test Squadron out. You see the tight corner here. Test Squadron out there, kind of in the middle of the pack there, 14 total points. So, 1 or 2 will help a little bit, but I think definitely disappointed in the positioning up to this point. Catcom with Circle Worm, got to be really excited about that. JScript, second place, still competing in that kind of middle of the pack group. So, with 18 points, I got an opportunity here to put some additional points on the board. But I got to tell you, if I'm Shugo the lucky one right now, if I'm Anreal, if I'm anybody in those top 5, I am watching my back because, Circle Worm with Catcom, they are going to be competitive in that top 5 position as far as the point total goes.
Yeah, definitely. So Midnight Bard going to take over the ramp in the midway point. I'm going to go through the extension. Now, once again, Midnight Bard did have a weird issue at the start of the race. They didn't seem to start for maybe like 30 or 40 seconds. Their laps in between have been a little bit slower as well. So maybe a little bit more practice on these tracks. I will promise you this track will probably come up again to anyone watching at home, it is a classic of the System 7, and we're likely to run it again.
And maybe
we're
just upend it on one of those light fixtures.
Yep.
That is the difficulty here, making sure you're aligned properly on these pathways, because the lighting on the side, you mentioned it before, it's got collision. It can be a significant problem for racers as they try and navigate around. Coming for this turnaround on the backside of this turn. And yeah, maintaining the pathway route.
That's what I was going to say. You noticed that when we were here last with Capcom and Least Motorsports, when they were right on top of each other, they decided to take the side left route, and there we go. Well, all right, okay. You can never be
some
certain.
Positional desync.
Yeah, when we were here though with Capcom and Least Motorsports, they both took the side route, the sort of the sloped route, which less debris for you to try to ignore, as well as you're just able to maintain speed longer as well. So that's where a lot of their lap time difference comes from.
The real strategy: fewer opportunities to have physics collisions, get yourself knocked sideways, especially when you are in such close proximity. We have seen many of these racers turn sideways, nearly fall off. Luce from Team Premier Corps Colonial getting knocked out during that initial lap as well. So,
camera having a little bit of a problem there. We're going to head on to
here we go into the final stretch. We got one turnaround. It looks like hung up on one of those light fixtures again. And the Midnight Bar, let's hear for Test Squadron out here.
Yeah, big hype for Test Squadron. That turn can be really awkward as well, that 180-degree turn there. If you do it wrong, you're just going to lose so much time, regardless of whether the fact that you're going to fall off the side. So you got to be
the loss of momentum is a big killer there as well. The Drake Mule does have kind of a very quick acceleration from a dead start, so it's not as critical as we might see on other vehicles. But yeah, as we saw, that turnaround is slow. This vehicle is good with a straight line, but with that, there we are, completing at 15 minutes 27 seconds, fastest lap at 4 minutes 28. Test Squadron secures it in third place. So.
Yeah, so we're going to be seeing Capcom head into the finals with Circo Worm, and we're going to be seeing Least Motorsports JScript is going to be heading on to the runner-up finals. Well done to our competitors there. Now this is the one that I've been talking about. It's the one that I've been excited for ever since hour one of today. Heat number 2. This is an absolutely stacked heat. This, once again, I said this could have been a finals heat. Amarok's Fang, Blackhawks, CRUSADER Racing, and Drunken Turtle Racing all competing in the same heat, in the same primary heat. We've got Anril, Ludox, Sanju Sama, and Pouncer.
Yep. We are going to see Amarok's Fang, obviously at the top there, but Team Blackhawks as well, trying to vie who's going to compete against Catcom in the finals, right? As well, Drunken Turtle and CRUSADER Racing with an opportunity to upset, both kind of in the middle of the pack right now. CRUSADER Racing, Sanji Sama getting a 4th place earlier today, securing 20 points, a little outside the top 5 right now, but with a good finish, could be very competitive and a cleaner track, hopefully, for them to be able to put some points down. So, yeah, I think this will be one of the toughest competitions we see in today's heats, outside of maybe the finale. Those vehicles, you see a little bit of damage on them as they're running up into the C2. We'll get the next heat lined up, but yeah, we've got our final and our runner-up finales set. Those next set are getting lined up on the track.
Yep. A little bit of extra stress here, I guess, as well, as because of some no-shows that we had today, we only have 2 heats of 4, and then we have 2 heats of 3. So not only are all 4 of these teams that we're about to watch extremely talented, and very intimidating when you look at their leaderboards and their previous accomplishments. But they're also our last group of 4. So 2 of these races will not, just straight up will not be competing after this. Whereas when we go into heat number 3 and heat number 4, you just need to not come last. There's a lot less pressure on that.
Yeah, and you know, the obviously not being able to race a second time in this track, losing the opportunity maybe for a best lap bonus as well. But yeah, the top of the non-finalists or semi-finalists still getting an extra bonus point there. You know, it's going to be rough. I think we'll see some very competitive racing in this heat. Obviously, Amarok's Fang, Blackhawk, Kuroda, and Drunken Turtle. Everybody wants to get points on the board. We've seen great performance today from both Sanji Sama and Anril. We've yet to see what Pounza can do. Ludok's in there as well, providing a little bit of a boost earlier today for their team. So,
yeah. Now, the development of this season so far has me really interested. With the top 3 teams still performing quite well, but having a bit of a trouble towards the mid-season so far. I really am curious if one of our old classic teams is going to have to try to re-qualify next year. Teams like Punch Nomies that are still doing very well right now, still plenty of races to go. If they have to try to attempt to re-qualify next year, that's going to be a huge deal. So, going to be fun to watch. We'll see what happens.
Yep. We got the 2-minute warning for the racers. They are lined up, ready to hit this. Now, we did see a little bit of a rough start there for Test Squadron. Right, the Midnight Bard not getting off the line. We'll see if we have clean starts from all 4 of our racers during this heat, and as well, you know, what lines they seem to take. If they follow that edge of the platform, or if there are some that feel confident enough in their maneuvering to stick on the paved pathways. And of course, overtaking here might be a big difference maker if people are able to get that set up for an overtake in a clean area. Sanji Sama, Pounza, Ludox, and Anril.
All right, I'll give you 10 seconds. Who's going to take this heat, Red?
Oh, who's going to take this one? I'm feeling Anril from Amaroks. Really excellent performance. We saw them take first place in last round. I think they've got the glow today, right? Riding that high off of a first place finish earlier. I think they're going to just have it going. Anril's locked in.
All right, I'm going to push for, like, of these teams of 4, probably the underdog in this situation is Pounza from Drunken Turtle Racing, and who doesn't love an underdog? So I'm gonna hope that Pounza can push this one through and get first place, or at the very least head into runners up. But let us know,
of course,
at home who you guys are going for. Who's going to pick up this heat?
30 seconds in. Are you going for Amarok's Fang, Blackhawks, Kuroda, or Drunken Turtle Racing? We've got Anril, Ludox, Sanji Sama, and Pounza. Let's hear it in chat. Coming into our final countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Very well timed, Red. Love it. So here we go. Very different to the race that we saw just before. All of our races almost right on top of each other on a huge collision.
4.
It's Ludox.
Right there.
That collision almost ended up with Ludox off the side. That would have been huge. That would have been brutal.
And Sanji Sama takes an early lead, capitalizing on that cluster there. We had a little bit of a traffic jam in probably one of the worst possible positions. All 4 racers nearly stacked up right along the side of one of those overhangs, right off of that platform. You've got to be puckering there. Sanji Sama coming up first. It's got to feel good to get out of there unscathed. Sanji getting an early lead. Now he's just got to maintain it.
Yep. So Sanji, Ludox, and Anril still pretty much right on top of each other after all that debacle. But I did notice that Pounza is a bit further behind. So A little bit of issues
looked
there.
like
They
Ponza
were
got
at the back of the pack during that collision, so I imagine they got punished.
Ponza
the
looked like
most.
they had gotten overturned during that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh
very
no!
rough start.
Someone did forget to close their door. It looks like some audience insight watching their Ludox coming a little left there. Sanji Sama getting overtaken by Anril. So Anril proving that he's locked in.
Yep.
Having a little bit of a
big
trouble
development
on
there.
that ramp as they come across.
Yeah, that's where you can lose most of your time during this. It happens a lot. So if you go over that ramp, if you just take it a little bit wrong, if you take it a little bit too fast, if you take it a little bit too slow, you're really got to take it at the perfect speed. One of those ones where you got to slow down just a little bit forward just to make sure it works. Noticeably, I don't know what happened there. If we could, I need our cameras to know where the action is sometimes. Would love to know what happened to Sanji just then, as Sanji, I think it was, right? Looked like they almost went over the side. But Anril's still ahead at the moment.
Yeah, keeping track of Anril up at the top. And yeah, we saw Ponza had come across that stairway. This hard right turn just kills your momentum. So we'll see Anril maybe taking that left. He does hit the ramp slightly.
I'm not seeing Sanji. I'm not seeing Sanji.
I do see some headlights moving behind there. Ludok's taking a clean line through that dip on the left side.
You're right. There you go. Yeah, I think you're right. So it's likely what just happened is instead of falling off the side, which would have been extremely bad, it looks like it just gave Ludox the opportunity to get ahead of Sanji and push into second place. But yeah, absolutely terrible news there for Sanji. But only left number one. Plenty of time to come back.
Yeah, Ludox coming around that turn and riding the edge of the platform here. And we'll see Sanji Sama right behind and Ponza coming a little bit further behind. Haven't quite gotten across the stairway yet. So,
yeah. So Anril is going to be our first one to cross the finish line of this heat. And we're going to be looking at a lap time of 3 minutes and 14 seconds for their fastest lap.
Yeah, Ludox coming in 3 minutes 21, so 7-second separation between them. I mean, if Anril crashes into anything, gets upturned, that's more than enough time. We got Sanji coming in, finishing that lap. Still very competitive, getting into lap 2. 3 minutes, now, 38 seconds.
Worth noting, the fastest lap that we've had so far was in heat number 1 from Circa Worm with 3 minutes and 5 seconds. So if you're after that 1 extra point, that is the time you're looking to beat at the moment.
Yeah, 3 minutes, 5 seconds.
All right, so it looks like we got a little bit of a replay. Oh, it looks like we just missed Sanji heading off to the side there, and Enro coming through. We're gonna have to have a stern talking to our camera people, and let them know that if they see an if you see someone doing something crazy, you got to look at it.
Yeah, go for the dives, right? That's where the action's at. Exactly. Sanji looking like I was saying a clean line there up until the point he ran into a light. But you know what? He just wanted to do a gainer. He's got it.
Style points.
Yeah, around this corner, and looping through underneath the building, that underpass, into the ramp, and he'll ride that pretty clean. Yeah,
look how much further ahead Anril is at the moment, though, even past Ludox. An opportunity here for Sanji maybe to get past Ludox again, though. But I imagine Anril's going to keep this one ahead, which after last race is going to be very, very impressive to sort of run this back.
Yeah, Anril seeming to be locked in, as mentioned. Going on that left side, avoiding those lights on the pathway. And yeah, taking this hard right turn. You see him cut that corner a little bit. Just trying to keep it wide enough to maintain enough momentum as they're going in.
Yeah, that turn is really, really awkward as you come around it because you come into it with so much speed and the vehicle really does not want to turn particularly fast. So you've got to slow it down a lot just to make sure you don't end up in a situation where you've got to, start reversing and fix yourself. So that's what we saw there.
And over that terrain there, Anril really taking one of the cleaner lines we've seen so far in race 2 here on the Cloud Chasers platform.
All right, coming back around. Heading for the final straight here, we can see Ludox on the other side as well.
Sanji Sama and Ponza. So Still pretty competitive. Not a whole lot of separation. We probably won't see anybody get lapped here. There it is on lap 2, working through that. Amarok's Fang, obviously, with the fastest lap. We'll see if they can beat their previous after lap 1. I think that initial collision really probably slowed things down by a good couple of seconds.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I believe that was a fastest lap there for them. I didn't get the exact number there, but that was 6:17 them crossing the finish line. And I believe previous to that, they had a 3:15. So it might be a 3 minute and 2 second, something like that, which we'll get confirmation of course, once we get to the finish line, as Blackhawks are also going to cross over into their final lap.
And some positional desync as Ludox avoids the side there. We see it bouncing around. That's just Sanji-sama coming in as well with Kuroda. About 17 seconds between positions 2 and 3. That was 3:17, 3:34. Sanji-sama at 7:03. So 20-ish seconds behind there. Right in this line, we'll see Pounza from Drunken Turtle as they finish up their run. So Amarok's Fang looks like it's Anril's got it locked in.
Yep, certainly seems that way as they get over the ramp onto the left side here, trying to avoid as many of these little lights and trees as possible.
Out for the out and back.
And once again, you just see the slope play. It's just so much easier to drive onto these slopes, so you don't have to mess around too much with any type of debris.
All right, Ludox, Anril there.
And here comes
Ludox
Ludox. So
here?
not too much far behind Anril, but on this final lap, it's going to take something a little bit extra here in order for Ludox to make this up.
Yeah, there's some good separation between the teams. I think this positioning, aside from any major incidents, should hold. Sanji-sama coming out and back. Getting a 3rd place here, trying to lock that down. And Sanji-sama's got a good contention for 9th or 10th place. Oh, we saw...
Oh, I don't think that was desync. I don't think that's desync.
That was... that is not desync. He hit a light pole there, and he just flipped for a gainer. And Sanji-sama...
desync. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was...
Sanji-sama off the platform. That is going to be a DNF for Sanji. Very, very unfortunate. And
that is a disappointing plunge for Sanji. Yeah, it's going to hold. That was an unfortunate collision with one of the light fixtures on just that short turnaround, and enough to flip you with a gainer right over the edge of that platform. This is the risk. F's in chat for Sanji. A disappointing finish there. And we have Amarok's Fang, fastest lap with 3 minutes, 2 seconds.
Yeah, well done, Amarok's Fang, as well as 3 minutes, 2 seconds is going to be a hard one to beat for our competitors. So as they cross, never mind. I take it back immediately as Ludox from Blackhawks.
For Blackhawks.
Yeah, huge finish there. Well done, Blackhawks. So you'll be in the runner-up finals, but you also, at the moment, have the fastest lap time on the board. So you may be able to pick up an extra point there. Here we go. Pollens are in the halfway mark, roughly, as they come around. Hopefully, they don't also end up crossing over the side here, as we saw earlier with Sanji. So yeah, well done, competitors. Very, very impressive. That was Heat 2. We talked about Heat 2 was going to be an absolute beast of a what?
On his side recovering.
You can't get. I don't think you can get back up from there.
That is.
I think Pounds has decided his fate.
He may be able to recover it. Is there a steps over there? It's going to take him at least a minute and a half to finish this up.
No, as far as I'm aware, it's like a little elevator over there, not a stair. So I don't think you can actually drive through there to get up. So that's going to be very unfortunate for Pounds.
Got a tractor beam.
Yep.
Yeah,
True,
you
you
could
can try to
manage
beam it
it,
up,
but
and then you can take the elevator probably. No, I think that's going to be it for Pouncer. But well done to our competitors. Like I said, this was going to be one of the beasts of heats that we had today, and Amarok's Fang and Blackhawks were just on top of each other for the majority of the race, not letting up for most of it. And then, of course, we had that insane battle at the start with the collision. And the collision was absolutely crazy. So,
yeah.
so let's see some more stuff like that. It'd be great.
Okay. And they are, maybe getting the tractor beam out to recover it. And here, Sanji Sama with the replay.
Yeah, so as you see, they come around and they just barely
It's
collide into like
right
a
there in
line
the
on the
middle.
side. Yeah, and it just sends them. They were going too fast for it. Like you want to be going that fast, but you don't want to be going that fast and then collide into one of those lights, and it just cost them the race. Unfortunately, they
Quite
were in third
unfortunate.
point. They weren't in third place at the point, so you know it's a little less tragic, but tragic nonetheless. As we finish heat number 2. But well done to our competitors. We're going to start getting ready for heat number 3, where we're going to be seeing Punch Nomies, Sire Racing, and Adventure Origins.
Yeah, and this is going to be probably one of those to watch. Obviously, Shugo, the lucky one, first time seeing him out there, but Team Punch Nomies trying to keep up there. We got Amarok's Fang in there. We got Catcom. We got Punch Nomies. We've got some favorites coming in. Unfortunately, Ludox with the Blackhawks there. Yeah, we'll be watching those for the final finish there. Second place, so coming up in the runner up, just behind Anro, creating some separation there. And yeah, as you mentioned, that initial collision off the start. Wow, all 4 of those Drake mules got tangled up right near the platform edge. I thought we were going to lose half of the field in that one incident.
Yep.
Not even 10 seconds
It
off the
certainly
starting
felt
line.
that way. Yeah, I believe it was it Ludox that almost fell off the side there, I believe, but just caught themselves and then turned themselves
Sanji
around.
Sama got a good lead off of that, but was not able to hold on to it for very long. Obviously, a very competitive group of racers out there. And as we saw, unfortunately, Sanji Sama, that speed can be a liability on these narrow tracks. So,
yeah. All right, so we're going to get these vehicles off the track. We're going to bring the new ones. So once again, we're going to be seeing Punch Nomies, Sire Racing Team, and Venture Origins for our next heat here as we move into heat number 3, which right now looks like Pouncer is running the remainder of the track, from what I can tell.
you know what?
Yep. We're going to finish.
Point,
We're finishing our lap no matter what. All right, we're doing it.
We've seen similar happen with the Daymar Rally teams, just trying to finish it for the honor of the race. Not accepting a DNF. They recovered just right there, but unfortunately, that lip of the platform really unrecoverable for that vehicle. It's not going to get back up onto this level. An elevator for the player, but obviously some creative work here from Panza, ensuring that. Obviously, you gotta manage your sprints and your endurance during this event, and Pounza showing us what dedication is.
Now the question is, will Pounza finish before our heats do?
He was pretty close there on the backside here, so I believe he's going to be done by about the time we start lap number 1, maybe 2. So
possibly.
As long as he's not obstructing the track, we'll see how they manage.
Yeah, let's talk about this next heat that we're going to be seeing as we watch Pounds head on around. So, like I said, Punch Nomies, Sire Racing Team, and Venture Origins. We've got Shugo, the Lucky One, Neojet, and the Yodalorian. What do you think about this one?
Oh man, Shugo, the Lucky One, is in a position to really drive the nail home for Team Punch Nomies. They've had great performances so far. Races 4 and 5 getting first place. Race 3 only getting 5th place, so some points there. Disappointed with race 1 that happened earlier today, 7th place, and of course Herbie's not up. Herbie's not going to be happy with his placement. So Shugo, the Lucky One's got an opportunity to come in here and provide a little bit of redemption. I think that's going to be one of those. Now, Venture Origins with the Yodalorian gets my award for best player name so far. So a little personal favorite. I'm a name nerd, so
yeah,
and they
it's going to
will
be an
let Pounds
interesting one
complete.
to watch. It's going to be an interesting one to watch. Once again, like, because it is a 3-person heat instead of a 4-person, you just want to make sure you don't come last in order for you to get a solid amount of points today. The team is lining up, as we can actually see in the distance there, because Pounds is gonna run through them any moment now. So this one's gonna be running pretty soon. Where's your prediction at, Red, for this next heat?
Ooh, well, first off, we had a new fastest track time at 2 minutes 59. I think this is probably the group that's going to do it. That's got an opportunity. Maybe I think maybe a 2:58. I don't think we'll see 2:57 as far as the fastest lap time. But I think NeoJet's hungry, right? I think NeoJet, coming in second place from track 1 today, the leisure loop. I think he's got it dialed in and will be running and gunning to try and create a little bit more competitiveness in that top 5, maybe make it a top 6.
Yeah, no, I agree. NeoJet's gonna try this for sure. NeoJet certainly excels a lot more at the endurance races, but at the very least, the grand vehicle races certainly seem to be a little bit of a favorite of NeoJet. So I think Shugo did try this race last year, and for the most part performed pretty well. I think they're looking to bring it back here and see what they can perform for Team Punch Nomies, as well as maybe redeem a little bit of Herbie's round from race 1. But yeah,
and Pounza
I think my
completing
prediction,
lap 3 on foot.
Yep. Let's give it up for Pounza, everyone. If you're at any chats, hey, they've completed this race more times than I have. I think I've DNF'd every single time I've been on this track. It can be rough. So well done, Pounza. I'm gonna push. I am gonna say Punch Nomies. I think you're gonna take this one ahead, but I really do not know where it's going to go for second place. I think this is going to be a very solid race of 3. What I will say is I don't think we're going to see the kind of collision we saw in last race. There's a big difference with 3 and 4 as well.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Like we saw right out of the gate, this first that first little overhang. As long as they can establish position. We saw Gerbo the Gnome, I believe, held off during some of the initial heats that he was involved in to allow some position to happen, avoid that collision, because we've seen that. That's a risk, and getting eliminated in the first 20 or 30 seconds is going to be a real heartbreaker. But yeah, we've got the Yodalorian, Shugo the Lucky One, and NeoJet, who are going to be vying for that position as they get through this initial overpass.
Yep, definitely. So, if you are just joining us, welcome back to the System 7 Race 1 and 2. We finished Race 1 a little while ago. We are at Race number 2. We're in our heats. We're about to do Heat number 3. We've got a total of 4 races left for you today. We've got Heat 3 and 4, followed by our runner-up finals and our finals. These ones go through pretty quickly. So, if you want to watch some fast-paced mule action, make sure to sit here and watch and follow along.
Yeah, and this is the Cloud Chasers platform on Crusader. They are racing the Drake Mule with a top speed of 32 meters per second. Our best lap time we've seen today is 2 minutes 59 seconds. They're going to complete 3 laps in this heat to get into the finals or the runner-up finals. In the finals, you can score between 12 or 25 points based on your placement. The runner-up finals, you're going to score between 4 and 10. So we have our 2-minute warning. Now, the way things are lining up right now, we got Punch Nomies that really wants to solidify. We've got Sire Racing Team that wants some redemption, and we want Venture Origins. They want to get on the board. They've had a 5th place finish, but that's the best they've done. I think the Yodalorian wants at least to get into that runner-up, hopefully the finals. So, what are your thoughts in chat? Who's your favorite for this right now? Are you going for Team Punch Nomies, Team Venture Origins, or Team Sire Racing? Type in your favorites. Let us know who you're rooting for on this round, and maybe who you'd like to see them competing against going into the semifinals. Our runner-up, we've already got Liz Motorsports and Blackhawks, JScript and Ludox there representing each. Our finals, we've got Circo Worm from Catcom, Amarok's Fame with Anril, or Amarok's Fang with the driver Anril. 1 minute left to go.
Yep, last chance for you guys to let us know what you think is going to happen here. Remember, top 2 are going to make it through into the next few rounds. It's been a hell of a race so far.
Yeah. You think we're going to see somebody beat that 2 minutes, 59 seconds?
I do think if we're going to see it, it's going to be in heat number 3 or 4. Just because of the fact that you are missing a person means that you can take a little bit more risky starts, and you're going to be fighting a little bit less in the mid game. So I think we might see it in the next 2. However, we have already seen Anril and Ludox compete. We've already seen Circuit Worm compete. So like we've already seen these very, very fast races go through, and we're about to see these guys compete in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Now, once again, that looked perfect from my perspective.
Yeah, Neojet coming out front. Shugo the lucky one, right on his tail, and oh my goodness.
God.
The Yodelorian coming in behind and giving them both. Yeah, what a clincher there. Neojet looking right over the side, and no. Neojet unable to recover, getting turned on his side, it looked like, and with the vehicle automatically righting himself, getting pushed off. Neojet for Sire Racing, early elimination. And we see the Yodelorian. Now, that was Neojet and Shugo the lucky one that got tangled up. The Yodelorian came in from behind and kind of clipped the right side of those guys as they were tangled up together, and really capitalizing on that risky area. We saw that before, and oh my goodness, the earliest elimination so far with Neojet. Gotta be a heartbreaker.
Yeah, look, that's been the riskiest area of the entire race, pretty much so far that we've seen today. But it looked like a bunch of times that they were going to recover, and they pretty much did. But then every second they would recover and then flip around a different way, and then they'd be in jeopardy again. And so that was honestly a terrible collision.
I'm not sure that was a smart strategic move from the Yodelorian, because I guarantee you, Shugo the lucky one's coming back with a vengeance. You should have taken them both out.
Yeah, agreed. But this is also going to guarantee that we are going to see both of these races up next. So Neo is going to DNF there, of course, but Shugo and Yodelorian are now competing for runner-up and finals. So we're going to be watching just these 2 races for the rest of this bracket.
And we see, Shugo the lucky one there on that side of the track. We saw Sanji-sama launch himself off of. Yodelorian looks like he was also stuck there from the top view.
Yeah.
Shugo looking for an overtake as the Yodelorian is still sideways.
There we go. Well timed there. Shugo recovers and is able to make it up to the Yodelorian, who,
really
also had a collision.
Closing the gap there. And like I said, there's some vengeance as Shugo is trying to make up for. And we see the Yodelorian colliding with something there. Shugo taking over, and Team Punch Nomies, they're locked in. The Yodelorian working on it. Shugo getting exceptional air right there. Gets turned around, but it looks like they're ooh, a little upside down.
They had a bit of a flip over there, so that's going to cost them that lead once again, and we're going to see another switchback. Yodelorian's going to push back into first again. So we've actually got it feels like a pretty evenly matched group here that are fighting for first and second. Only in lap number 1, and we've seen them pass each other several times already.
And honestly, it just goes to show, like, it's not going to be an easy take for this. You're going to have to work for it. Shugo is on his tail. They've traded positions already a couple of times. And, Shugo, maybe a little bit of a vendetta for nearly getting eliminated, knocked off the platform with the Yodelorian coming in, taking advantage while Neojet and Shugo were tied up right near the edge. A risky maneuver, and Shugo is going to remember that. Looks like they're even catching up now. 3 minutes 33 for the Yodelorian, 3:35 for Shugo. So they can run a clean lap. We haven't seen it on the first lap. Obviously, the collisions with everything being so tied up close together. Second and third laps where we've seen those records. Shugo kind of riding a little further left than the Yodelarian on this this outside.
Yep. Around comes Yodelarian now, though, around the tree. Shugo making up once again a little bit of distance there, and then needs to make a little bit more in order to take a push here. You can also see Yodelarian
some little
getting
hops,
a couple of bumps. Yeah.
Yeah, those will cost you some momentum. And how you transition from that kind of slanted embankment up onto the flat zone. If you're able to keep your wheels on the ground. We see Shugo coming in on the inside, trying to cut there. These guys are neck and neck. And there we see Shugo overtaking on the corner.
Yeah, Yodelarian went, looked like a little bit too wide. Ooh, also going to lose a bunch of time there. So they will flip back over after that ramp, but now Shugo is going to be fairly solidly in front, barring another big issue.
Middle of lap 2, Shugo the lucky one's been running a clean line this lap and taking advantage of a couple of opportunities that the Yodelarian's given him. Taking the inside track, giving a little bit cleaner run on that ramp as the Yodelarian gets flipped upside down. Has to wait for that vehicle to right itself, but the Yodelarian he's churning at the bit, trying to get in there.
Coming back around now, but it's still going to take quite a bit of time and probably a few mistakes on Shugo's part in order to get back here.
Yeah, and at this point, he just got to run a clean lap, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now, once again, you can be comforted by the fact that you are guaranteed runner-up finals at the moment after the DNF with Neojet, but we're here for big points.
Yeah, do we feel like the Yodelarian is really going to accept that? Venture Origins with 13 points up to this point, kind of in the middle of the track, pack, wanting to establish themselves. Shugo, the lucky one, helping to further solidify for Team Punchnomi's, who's been really dominant up to this point.
Yeah, exactly. And they're certainly dominating this race right at the moment there. So you can see that they, once again, a strategy from a lot of our competitors today, a lot of our faster competitors, has been to take the trough rather than the bridge. And that does come with the risk that we saw there with Shugo of getting launched up a fair amount. But if you can control your landing, as Shugo did, you'll end up in a much better spot.
Yep, and that's a good turnaround point. We see the Yodelarian just hot on his heels. So it's still competitive. You've got to have a clean lap 3, but Shugo's got to feel a little bit comfortable pulling a bit ahead. We see those headlights behind from either the chase vehicles or the mule itself, the Yodelarian.
All right, lap number 2 going to be completed here just any moment. Let's see where they're sitting.
Official time, 6:42.
6 minutes 42. So that's about I believe they were a 3:30 something. So about 3 minutes and 10 seconds or so for that lap. So still a lot of time for them to make up in order to get a best lap time. But once again, Shugo just at the moment dominating Yodelarian.
And we're getting these exceptional views of these two competitors. And I just have to say how much skill goes in for the camera operators here. You're flying backwards in third person or in a limited view. You got to have very great awareness of where your ship's at to not collide with things. And they're delivering fantastic views. As we see in the distance, the sunrise coming up on Crusader. I think this is setting up for a wonderful view during our runner-up and our final round here.
I agree. It looks like it's been really well timed today, which is great to see.
Yeah. So and it's easy to see why they named this the Cloud Chasers.
I get it, because they're chasing clouds.
And the Yodelarian coming around this turn.
A little bit of problems with the ramp once again. Just a little bit slow that time. At least they didn't get flipped around or anything. Didn't cost them too much. But Shugo
I think that was a strategic. Yeah, I think that was a strategic decision. If you hit that ramp with a little bit less speed, you're less likely to launch yourself upside down. You can sacrifice a second or two to prevent the risk of getting flipped over, which could be a 10, 20 second delay. With a race this close, you're really relying on Shugo to have some type of mistake here as they're running through the back half of this track and really having a clean run so far.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we'll see how they take this turn. Once again, we've had a lot of problems at this turn from a lot of our competitors as they come around here and not slowing down enough sometimes. But it looks like we're going to take it nice and safe as we come through.
Yeah, that looked really clean. And yeah, kind of hanging on the inside, using that bank to his advantage, limiting the distance there, and really just full sending and kind of going sideways off this, lining himself up for the next straightaway. And Shugo, he's on the home stretch. The Yodelarian stuck here. It looks like
around that turn, but very, very slow. Now we're just going to make sure we finish the lap.
He may have lost some time.
Yeah, definitely has. It's a little bit too far behind at this point. I think the only way that they're able to get through first right now is if Shugo ends up off the side of the platform, which with that 180 turn done there from Shugo, I think that is all over, ladies and gentlemen. So Punch Nomis are going to take this heat. They're going to move on to the finals, and Venture Origins are going to move on to the runner-up finals, which they've got to be excited about still.
Yeah, and we are just looking here. We got Amarok's Fang, Catcom. They are very happy about this. It's going to be a very competitive final run. Congratulations to Shugo. And yeah, our condolences out to NeoJet getting knocked off the platform right off the bat. So
incredibly unfortunate way for the race to start. But you know, our heart goes out to you, Neo. Well done with your attempts. And there we go, Venture Origins across the finish line there as well. Now, notably, Punch Nomis, they had a 3:06 as their fastest lap time during that recording. So still a fair bit slower than a few of our times that we've had. So they're going to have to try to beat that. For reference, our current fastest lap time is 2:59.86 from Ludox and Blackhawks, followed by 3:02.440 by Anril in Amarok's Fang. So those are the numbers you're looking to beat if you're looking to get that extra point for fastest lap.
Yeah, what a fantastic heat this was. We saw the early elimination with these three vehicles getting tied up. The Yodelarian coming in from the side, capitalizing on that, maybe causing a little bit of an additional collision to further that that departure. But yeah, Shugo, the lucky one, the Yodelarian, trading places for a good portion of that heat. Just really down to the clean runs on laps 2 and 3 from Shugo, and maybe a couple of times the Yodelarian getting flipped over on that ramp. It was tough. It was definitely a well-earned victory for Shugo. And yeah, my favorite feature of the C2 is that it always has to kiss the ground once it lands.
Yep. It's a quirk. It's a quirk.
Yeah.
Now, we have one more heat before we head into our finals, and that heat is going to be Delta Dietis Racing, Nexus, and Alpine Storm. So we're going to be seeing Space Tech, Manus, Lost, and Tikch. What do you think about this heat, Red?
Okay, well, we've got Delta Dietis up at the top, and I got to tell you, out of the top 5, Delta Dietis is the only one who hasn't gone yet. Blackhawks was in 5th position, and they are already competing in the runner-up finals. So if Delta Dietis is able to lock it in, get a first place, we'll see our first top 4 teams all competing in that final run for the overall tournament championship points, as well as the points today. We're going to see a huge shakeup in that top 4, maybe top 5. Now, that's not to say that Nexus or Alpine Storm won't be able to have some opportunities here.
Sorry, I'm a little concerned about our offloading process there with some of the mules. It's an interesting way to get off. But yeah, you're exactly right. If Delta Dietis can make this way through, it's going to be a really, really interesting finals here. I'm still excited to see what Alpine Storm can do. We were watching Tix quite a lot during the last race. And so it'd be nice to see what they can do here. Here is a replay of the start of that last race very quickly. So you can see NeoJet comes up. Ooh, so the collision actually happens in the center there, which is a little bit surprising. So you can see they keep colliding. Shugo ends up coming out. NeoJet looks like they were on their side, and they just slide off. Unfortunately, one of the problems with the auto riding. Yeah, one of the problems with like the auto writing of the vehicles is sometimes it works against you where you want to go, as it's just like, hey, I just want to be correct. I just want to be where I should be. I mean, it's like, oh, in order to do that, we have to yeet you off the platform, I'm afraid.
Yeah. We've got something interesting happening in heat number 4 here. So Delta Dietis right now is up at 3rd position for total points, where Alpine Storm and Nexus are both kind of at the back of the pack, right next to each other,
Yeah.
13 and 9 points. Now,
Mhm.
as long as they're able to finish, at least one of these teams is guaranteed to get into the runner-up finals. So,
Yeah.
with their opportunity here, we could see one of those teams separate from each other. That's obviously where they're really close in the total points right now, kind of at the bottom. They
Mhm.
want to secure something. We'll see if that happens. But of course, Space Tech coming in for Delta Diatis got a lot of work to do to make sure that his team stays near that top point. Currently in third. So
Yeah, there's a great way that's going to there's a lot of good things that are going to develop and interesting things, I guess, for the race over the course of the next few races. We have 3 races left for you guys today. 3 heats. Well, a heat, a run-hour finals, and a finals. If you've been watching today, thank you very much for hanging out with us. We've been enjoying it a lot. We hope you guys have been too. Hope you've been enjoying some good fun racing. Let us know how it's been going for you. Who have you been rooting for? What's your most exciting thing that you've been watching today? I'm certainly rooting for that Neojet collision, or possibly the fight that we had in heat number 2 between Amarok's Fang and Blackhawks. But I think there's still quite a few exciting things left for us here, if the last heat race was anything to go by.
And you've got to give an honorable mention to Sanji Sama taking the forward gainer off of the loop in the back half of the track. It was an unfortunate end to the race, but also it really highlights the risk here. So while we're talking, let's give a quick shout out for one of our sponsors, Tobii, the head and eye tracker, to help you revolutionize your gameplay with Tobii, the next level immersion. So use discount code ATMO at checkout, and enjoy your Tobii head and eye tracker.
Which, for reference, I do know quite a lot of our races do use a Tobii. Both our ground vehicle and our ship races use it, as it is just a much better way in order for you to figure out where you are. If you need to look around the cockpit as you're traveling like backwards, Mach 10. It's extremely helpful. So yeah.
The free look controls kind of being locked out unless you're on some advanced control schemes like a HOSAS with some additional buttons. There's a lot of inputs happening, but with the head and eye tracker, making it really natural to be able to pan around, see where your competitors are at. Even in third person views, give you an opportunity. You can keep your vehicle going forward without having to worry about losing inputs while you're free looking.
Exactly. All right, so it looks like we've got 2 of our competitors down there at the moment. I don't see Space Tech just yet. Possibly still in the ship there. So we'll see them at the moment. Until that happens, though, let's get a couple of predictions going. Who do you reckon is going to take this one down?
Ooh, it is tough to say. We've seen most of these racers out here. Space Tech for Delta Diatis has kind of been trading off with Czech League for their team. Manus Lost and Titch we've seen on the earlier races. So yeah, it's going to be tough. I know Titch 13th position, or 5th position earlier today. Manus Lost with 11th position. I think there's gonna be a very tough race for second between those two. I think Space Tech with Delta Diatis Racing is probably the favorite.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you there. If not just for the story of them trying to compete for top 3 and make their way into the books, right? It's a cool story so far this year that I've been enjoying, but I don't want them to just get it. I want there to be a little bit of a fight for it.
Yeah, and we'll see how they can manage this first kind of the interaction as everybody's jumbled up together. It's are we going to see another ejection there?
I hope not. I would like to not see anyone else fall off the side if possible.
How about you guys in chat? Who are you rooting for out there? Space Tech with Delta Diatis Racing, Manus Lost with Nexus, or Titch with Alpine Storm?
And who do you think is going to be the next person to fall off the side? Will it be one of these heats, or will it be someone from the runner-up or the finals?
It might actually be me. It could be me. I feel like if you and I were racing this, Croncy, yeah, if you and I were racing this, I have no doubt that both of us would go over the edge at some point, pretty early.
Both of us? Wow. No faith.
Yeah, well, I'd bribe the other competitors if I went first. So, but
just ram him
yeah, some
now.
yeah, these vehicles have been holding up really well. We've only had there was the one DNF on the earlier track. I think that was someone going overboard from Premier Core, which was unfortunate. We've had a couple of folks go overboard with this track, and realistically, all but one seeming to be kind of collision based with other vehicles. The one Sanji Sama kind of out in the open.
Yeah. So it looks like SpaceX did have a game crash, but I just saw his mule move back and forth a little bit, so he must be back now. Either that, or the mule has decided to have a mind of its own. And there we go. 2-minute countdown incoming before we start it. Who we reckon is going? Me and Red have already talked about what we reckon is going to happen. What do you guys think is going to happen? Heat number 4. One of these races will not be continuing forward to the runner-up or the finals. How is it going to go? How do you think the leaderboard is going to look like at the end of today? There is, of course, as well the revision that we have to make on the previous race to see if anything needs to happen there. Never know.
Yeah, and understanding the difference in vehicle performance here, they've all been running very, very smoothly on this track. A little bit more space. Yeah, Space Tech's in there. Obviously, trying to get that final heat with our top 4 scoring teams to really shake up that leaderboard and keep themselves in contention. I think if Space Tech doesn't get a first place here, it's basically going to push them down, maybe even out of the top 5. Blackhawks is running for the runner-up spot, so we'll need to see them really hold on to this. It's their race to lose. Where Titch and Menace lost, they're hungry. They want to get some points on there. So,
all right, we've got 50 seconds left before we get this one going. It's been a very, very enjoyable race so far.
Yeah, I was very, very interesting there. Watching those racers as they were overtaking each other. We got 30 seconds going on with that countdown. And look at the lighting here. We're going to have a fantastic view as we get into this round. Coming up 20 seconds. Space Tech, Titch, and Manus lost. Heat 4. Kicking off in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And we're off an immediate collision. And Titch is going to be the one to lose out the most of that, unfortunately, as Space Tech is going to take the lead.
Yeah, we see Space Tech getting ahead. Manus lost, and Titch kind of getting hung up together. We saw maybe a little bit of a hangback at the start just to establish some positioning. Let the other racers get tangled up, and then decide how you want to navigate around that. Space Tech coming around the backside. And there we go. Space Tech, Manus lost.
Ooh. All right, we gotta be more careful, guys. My heart can't take this, okay? So we go. Titch, even with that issue at the start there, because of Manus lost having that issue there, Titch is going to have a chance here to attack and try to get back ahead. But we were exactly right. Space Tech is right in front at the moment. Got a lot of distance between himself and the rest of the pack.
Yeah, Manus lost, and Titch competing here, running over that stairway. We'll see how they handle it. And looks like Titch is inverted. So going to lose a little bit of time. Manus lost, getting some separation. Space Tech out ahead.
Very solid start, at least for Space Tech in round number 1. And a warning for Brahms, our camera person. Hydrogen fuel 75%. I don't think you need a warning to know that you're at 75%. It's just me. I think that's fine.
Yeah, as they are following all these tracks, and we see Space Tech here. Pretty clean line here. Officer Rondog,
Yeah.
quite bright illumination as we're looking through this event. That hard right turn, people losing momentum here. Some folks actually getting inverted, and then how they take this turn on the inside, using that banked turn and up the smaller gap. Really not sending it as much as we saw like Shugo. Taking it a little more conservative, keeping the wheels on the ground as much as possible. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast.
Yeah, just no issues at all from Space Tech here. A little bit interested to see what might be happening in between Tich at the moment with that issues at the start. So there you go. As we can see a little bit from here, Tich making the way across. Manus lost a fair bit further underneath. No.
Yeah, we see
that.
Oh, we're gonna have to get a camera on.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening.
That elevation.
Yep, there we go. Yep, Manus lost. We missed that, but it looks like they are off the platform, and that's going to be a DNF for them. Delta Dietis with Space Tech are going to cross over the finish line with a 3 minute and 4 seconds with a very solid. That is a very, very solid time for lap number 1. Keep in mind as well, as well as they had Space Tech having to avoid that collision right at the start. So huge there for Space Tech, and of course huge there for Alpine Storm, who are going to be locked in to either the runner-up finals or the finals. We're still only at the start of lap number 2. Yeah. Very unfortunate there for Manus lost.
Disappointing end there for Team Nexus, who's only got 9 points on the board. Seemingly out of reach right now. There are 2 more races, but it's going to be tough to come back from that. Space Tech has a huge lead with Tich following behind. Space Tech's just got to run it clean, but do you think he's going to go for fastest lap or just consistent?
I think you should. Regardless, you should. The extra point matters a lot. And if you know that you just got a 3 minute and 4 second on your first lap, and there is a bit of news that we'll talk about later, but because of a DQ that has happened, currently the fastest lap is 3 minutes and 2 seconds. So if your initial lap is only 2 seconds slower than that, yeah, go for it. Right? 100%.
Yeah. And we see here Space Tech moving forward on the back half of this racetrack. We may see some remnants of Manus lost on that lower end of the platform, unless they've already just sent it right out. Here's Tich.
Yeah, I believe with the views that we had earlier, I don't think Manus got fully put off the platform. I think it was a similar situation to what we saw before, where there's those like lower little platforms that attach that you can't actually
caught on the safety rail.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. So I think that's what happened there. And then there we go. Now they're jumping off. Wait, no, that's Space Tech.
Space Tech.
No, that's Space Tech.
That is Space Tech off of the platform.
So
my
loud,
goodness.
The dog that I'm dog sitting for just started barking and freaking out. Space Tech is off the platform, which is going to mean as long as Alpine Storm gets past that point,
as
they
you see
just
Space
pushed
Tech
into the
exit
finals.
the vehicle. Wow.
That's crazy.
It was Space Tech's race to lose, and it just happened. What a heartbreak for what was our favorite out of this team. What would have set up the top 4 racers in the final round to really shake things up. And you've got to just Delta Dietis looking at the runner-up. Oh my goodness.
Yes, we just missed this the turnaround, but you can see the falling there. So yeah, Tix just needs to come around one of these last corners, and they're guaranteed to be in the finals. That is crazy. Now remember, they were the ones that initial collision they lost out on.
Yeah, Team Alpine Storm. Here we're watching Space Tech.
Space Tech had so yeah, a little jump on the side there as they come into that corner.
That's got to be our third competitor in this area of the track that's been eliminated by a lighting fixture collision. Knocked him off. You saw Space Tech nearly get caught on that lower platform, which third or fourth time we've seen that happen. And Tich has got to Alpine Storm team has got to be excited about what's happening right now. Tich just closing it out for the finale.
Yeah, so that is going to confirm that Ticht will be in the finals. Delta Dietus will be in the runner-up finals. So now we've just got running for fastest lap here as Ticht comes around. We're not even in lap 3 yet. We're going to be approaching lap number 3. Now, I do want to tell you guys a little bit about a thing that happened. So there has been a DQ for Blackhawks from Heat 2. So that means that they will not be pushing into the runner-up finals, as well as their best lap time of 2:59 will not stand. So our current best lap time is 3 minutes, 2 seconds, and 4:40 by Anril from Amarok's Fang. That also means that CRUSADER Racing, Sanji Sama, is going to push into the runner-up finals. So we will be seeing Sanji Sama pretty soon.
And Sanji Sama's got to feel really good about that right now, since he was the one we saw that really unfortunate lethal lighting fixture collision that launched him sideways on the back half of the track. And yeah, getting an opportunity for redemption, at least in the runner-up round.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So yeah, there we go. It's an unfortunate way to win here for Alpine Storm to get there, but yeah, you've got to be happy that you now can take it a bit slower.
And credit for that lethal lighting fixtures band name, one of the favorites provided here by our behind the scenes Enigmatic, who we saw commentating last week. Oh, a slight collision there.
What? No,
we're gonna lose it. Oh, the vehicle righted itself right off of that platform.
And every one of our races, every racer in this
2 and 3
fallen off the side.
Heat 4.
That's crazy.
Not a single finisher. All 3 eliminated.
I'm gonna have to blame our racers for making my dog freak out at me laughing and yelling at this particular heat. This was absolutely wild.
That was, I mean, none of these were forced errors, right? They were not player collisions. It was, obviously the disappointment as you are descending here, just right there at that corner, enough to clip it, turn you upside down, and that vehicle is going to try and right itself in whatever random direction it wants.
So I guess
that's a wrap for Heat 4.
Red? Yeah, I guess Heat number 4 is over a little bit earlier than expected. But it is going to mean that Alpine Storm are going to move on to the finals and Delta Dietus are going to move on to the runner-up, even though we had no finishes.
So Space Tech technically a second place there. Alpine Storm technically first with Ticht, and Nexus very disappointed there with that finish. Man, it's lost coming up.
Yep.
So the runner-up finals going to take a little bit to set up here because of that personnel change as well. The runner-up from Heat 4, we need to get Space Tech back in loaded. And,
we need to get all of our competitors back in. They've all died. They're all in the Center Crusader right now. So we're gonna get that one ready for you, as well as this one also finished a little bit earlier than we anticipated, so we didn't have the vehicles up ready. But let's talk about the runner-up finals now that we do have our lock-in. So second last race of the day, we have Elise Motorsports with JScript, CRUSADER Racing with Sanji Sama, Sire Racing with Neojet, and Delta Dietus with Space Tech. How are we feeling about our runner-up finals?
Oh, man. Well, we talked about it during Heat 4. Delta Dietus was in the top 4. It was Space Tech's race to lose, and unfortunately, a collision that sent him off the platform is what ended his heat there. Now, some redemption, maybe, but he's going to have to work for it. JScript, Neojet, and Sanji Sama have all also had good races. Sanji Sama and Neojet getting unfortunately knocked out early. They're coming for redemption as well. So I think runner-up finals is going to be a very, very competitive run. Liz Motorsports trying to get some points on the board, right? They're kind of in the back of the pack, kind of mid with 16 points. CRUSADER Racing just ahead of them with 20 points. Sire Racing team next up right behind there. So these are, team 6, 7, and 8 respectively, with Delta Dietus at team 3. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sanji, Neo, and JScript maybe teaming up against Space Tech.
We
may have had
seen
a change there. Yeah, Venture Origins just swapped in the Yodelorian, so Neojet maybe not participating here from Sire Racing. Whether that was a clerical or if there was some type of issue dropping in. We saw Neojet with Sire Racing, heat number 3, finished. Technically, looks like they did finish third, while Yodelarian was the second place there.
Right. This makes sense. Neojet. That makes sense. Our brains had not worked. Neojet had the fall off right at the start of the race that we witnessed. So yeah, just a
True.
clerical issue that we saw. Yeah. 100%
Right.
Venture Origins, Yodelorian. We will be seeing in the runner-up finals.
Yeah, Venture Origins doing their thing. Obviously, Yodelorian getting stuck behind Shugo the Lucky One, and we saw them really duking it out. A hard-earned second place finish in that heat. But yeah, Shugo able to lock it in. Going to be racing in our final race for today. We see the leftover Drake Mule there on the lower platform. Just a little bit of debris. And these views, sunrise on Crusader.
Yeah, it's very, very pretty. It's going to make for a fantastic few races.
Yeah, we've already had some excellent highlights today, both between the cinematics, the competitive nature of this race, and those heartbreaking drops off of these platforms. So, great work for our camera team, providing us exceptional views here in the wonderful, persistent universe of StarCitizen.
So once again, if you are just joining us, System 7, race number 2, but it's actually race number 5. Don't think about it too hard. We are here at Cloud Chasers on Orison, one of our classic Atmo Esports tracks, and we're running the Drake Mule. We've done 4 heats. We've got our runner-up finals coming up and our finals just after that. It's been a very, very fun few heats to watch. A lot more falling off the side than I anticipated. I thought race 1 would have been the day today where we would see the most DNFs, and that is apparently not the case.
Yeah, 3 minutes 2 seconds for our top speed, top lap time so far. I think we're going to see that record broken. We had a 2:59, but that was including a bit of a track cut, resulting in a DQ. So Sanji Sama moving up to the runner-up finals. So some redemption happening. This has been a very competitive track today, and with these heats, we saw in race 1 a lot of the collision issues with that Grey Cat STV, some positional desync that plagued a lot of our racers during race 1. The earlier part of today's broadcast. Race 2, what have you seen on this track that you feel like are going to be the key highlights for these racers to be successful?
So there's probably 3 major obstacles that you're going to lose the most. Well, actually, I'll say 4, because one of them kind of hadn't happened as much before. So the first one is not colliding 20 seconds into the race, which has been happening quite a few times in our regular heats. We've had this little traffic jam that started that has resulted in a lot of position changes, a couple of collisions, that sort of thing. So don't collide.
Yeah.
Don't collide, guys. The actual points though that are on the track that you want to be careful about. One is the ramp in the center. Now, most of our competitors, when our faster lap competitors, when they've been coming around the ramp, the first approach onto the ramp, they've been hitting it. The approach back, when they come back around it after doing the 180, they've actually been taking the trough and they've just been completely ignoring the ramp. The reason for that is the ramp can be unpredictable. The mule, it handles fine. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it really does not like colliding with anything. And when that happens, you're going to lose a bunch of time. So that's the first major one. Be careful of the ramp. The second one is the tree turn. So this is actually where we've seen quite a few people off the track today. There is that turn after you come around the 180, just before the ramp that I'm talking about. There's the big tree that you've got to go around. just before that, there's been a lot of issues with lights that people have been colliding into, and then you can lose a lot of time once you do take that turn too. So that's going to be the really careful one. And then lastly is maintaining speed on that final turn in the back there that you can actually see from our perspective in the middle up there. You can lose so much time from a bad turn in that section.
Yes.
So be really, really careful.
We've seen competitors take that a little too tightly, and you're going to lose a lot of momentum as you're going through there. Now, the Drake Mule has a lot of acceleration, but I think you really nailed it. That tree turn on the back leg of this track, we've seen 3, maybe 4 of our competitors colliding into lighting fixtures, other areas. Is a tight, narrow area that we could see some jumps, some hops. It's something that'll turn your vehicle over. And unfortunately, the unpredictable nature about that vehicle auto right feature has, it's caused those vehicles. You may still be on the platform when you land, but if you're upside down, you are at the mercy of the dice roll. And a lot of times, it rolls to a natural 1, and you're falling right off of that side. Nothing you can do about it once you're upside down, and that's been the biggest risk for the competitors. And back to the very beginning, that initial 20 or 30 seconds, establishing a position, being able to maintain it, and avoiding that collision. There's an overhang that is a very tight area, especially when you're bunched up. The runner-up finals and the finale here, we're going to have 4 racers in each, right? It's going to be packed, and you're going to want to get out in front first, but that comes with a risk. Everyone else wants to do that too, and inevitably, someone's going to collide, and it's the people that are in the back that get to respond, decide where that gap is, and just like a linebacker, coming through that gap, going for the goal.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see exactly how that goes for some of our competitors, and we hope that your favorite teams out there have made it into the runner-up finals and the finals. Let us know if indeed they have, and who you think is going to make it all the way through in our big finals. Like I said, we got Catcom, Amarok, Fang, Punch Nomies, and Alpine Storm. Some absolutely fantastically large, big performing teams. And then Alpine Storm, the underdog of those 4, looking to prove themselves. They are a new team into this year's System 7, looking to prove themselves. Can they do it? I certainly hope so.
Yeah, and feeling very, very good about their positioning here. Guaranteed 12 points, which really doubles their total. They're at 13 right now. That would put them above some of the other teams in that bottom half. So, kind of coming within striking distance of that top 5 or top 6. And with a couple of races still left to go after today, Alpine Storm couldn't be happier with the positioning they're in right now. The runner-up finals, Liz Motorsports with J-Script, CRUSADER Racing, Sanji Sama, Venture Origins with the Yodelarian, and of course Space Tech with Delta Diotis. Space Tech currently in the points lead, but I got to tell you, J-Script, Sanji, and the Yodelarian, they're coming for him. I think that's going to be a very, very fierce, competitive round, and it could see Space Tech losing even further for Team Delta Diotis. Got to really hold on to it.
Yeah, definitely do. So taking a little bit of time for us to set up this next race, as once again we did have a lot of DNFs from the last race, and some of them have to respawn. We have to get some extra vehicles back. One of the cool things that I do love about the System 7 is a lot of our competitors are really, really good at sort of like pre-setting up everything, but that does mean when we get into the finals and the runner-up finals that we sort of have to reset up again. So just going to take a little bit longer while we get all set up. But here is the track. Here is what we've been talking about. We've been watching all day. And those sections that I was talking about earlier, so that ramp right in the center there where you can see the 2 laps combine. And then the big problem 180 section is off to the right there. It's very, very tight. You can lose a lot of time if you take it wrong. So that's what you're looking for. And there, I believe, is our C2 coming in with our competitors.
It's hard to tell with that many party markers all jumbled up together, but I guarantee you that looks like it could be.
I would hope that's our
runner-up and our finals.
It's like, we just picked up a bunch of randoms. We thought we'd let them onto the track.
And they're coming back in now. Runner-up finals: Liz Motorsports, CRUSADER Racing, Venture Origins, and Delta Diatus Racing. Trying to get some points on the board. And our finals: Cadcom, Amarok's Fame, Punch Nomies, and Alpine Storm. 3 of those teams already in the top 5. Alpine Storm looking to put themselves in contention.
Yep. Now, as we get these few vehicles onto the track, you may have missed, if you haven't been paying attention, something very cool that we're going to be running called Gravity Rush. And we've got a quick little video for you guys. So have a look. That is right. We have some Ship Racing League coming towards you very, very soon. Gravity Rush, gravityrush.gg.
Yeah. Now, this Gravity Rush event is organized by Atmo Esports and Laser, which is Litho Aerospace Racing. Signups open up May 12th and close on June 14th, with time trials being submitted on scr.gg between May 12th and June 16th. There are quite a lot of amazing prizes in here, but this is starting off with 96 racers, whittling it down to 12 in the finals there. Quite a series between the qualifiers, the group cycles, and then moving into those finals.
Yep, should be a fantastic time. So if that's a bit more your pace, you're not into the Drake mules, also known as you don't have class, then you can definitely go check out the Gravity Rush. It's going to be a fantastic league, guys. So we hope to see you there.
Yeah. And here we see our players lining up for the runner-up finals. Now, this heat, we've got some points on the board. First place in this round is going to secure 10 points, with 5th place overall for race 2. 6th place going to get 8 points. 7th place is going to get 6 points, and 8th place will get 4 points. So,
yeah, these
folks, these trying to get on the board.
Yeah, these middling sort of 5th through 8th points really do start to matter. Like we said as well, we've said many times, the fact that our points have increased and sort of paid down a little bit more means a 5th place result means a lot more for you at the end of the season. So it's something that you do, it's not just I'm only going to get a couple of points. No, it will matter at the end of the season. So we'll see how it ends up here. The teams at the moment that care most for this, though, are definitely Delta Diatus, though. They're towards the top of the leaderboard at the moment, and they'd certainly like to stay that way. So certainly one that they're looking for the 5th place.
Yeah, and Delta Diatus having previous finishes 1st, 4th, 2nd, and 9th place. So obviously trying to get towards the top of the pack here, keep a consistent upper end performance, and secure those points. Obviously, gonna potentially fall behind against some of the other teams in the top 5 for the overall scoring position. So it's gonna be a very competitive there. I think Space Tech is gonna be the one to watch, but the other racers here know that exactly. They are out for Space Tech in order to try and secure their own position, that point advantage as it carries forward. Who's your favorite?
My favorite for the runner-up finals, I think it's going to be Space Tech. We did see Space Tech absolutely crush it until that collision, right? That we witnessed. So I think Space Tech is still probably the favorite here, but Sanji Sama is going to make them run for their money. I think, in my opinion, I think there is a bit of a skill difference between Sanji Sama Space Tech and our other two competitors, JScript and the Yodalorian. But please prove me wrong. Please crush it. I want to see you guys absolutely smash this. But I'm putting my money on Space Tech.
Croncy's not pulling any punches, but like he said, it's up to these racers to prove their reputation. Sanji Sama, we saw some great performance. Again, eliminated kind of in that back half because of a collision with a lighting fixture, sending the forward gainer. Space Tech getting launched a little bit further down the track at that, we'll call it the tree turn, but a narrow area with some other collision that's been sending other racers to their doom as well. The Yodalorian getting stuck behind Shugo, the lucky one, during their heat and really trading off. I think the Yodalorian's got some good opportunity here with JScript there. Also trying to represent for Liz Motorsports. We got the 60-second countdown. These racers are getting ready.
Yep, 60-second countdown on our second last race of the day. Who's going to take it home for our runner-up finals? Will it be JScript with Lease Motorsports, Sanji Sama with CRUSADER Racing, Yodalorian with Venture Origins, or Space Tech with Delta Dietis? You've seen them all in the regular heats. Now it's time for the points to matter. They've got to run this back, and they've got to run it back hard.
Yeah, 30-second warning, and this first 30 seconds after that start is going to be crucial. Do you think we're going to see people launching? What do you guys think in chat? Who is your favorite? Give them a shout out as we enter the final countdown.
Please no crash. Please no crash. All right. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
And they're off. It looks like a clean start.
A collision will be between Sanji Sama and Scripts. Oh! Almost missed out on it. Sanji Sama is going to take the lead once again after an initial collision, which is exactly what happened in their regular heat as well. Space Tech is going to be the one to lose out the most of our four.
Oh man, and that's got to be some vindictive racers out there. Space Tech, the last one to recover from that collision between JScript, the Yodalorian, and himself. Sanji Sama capitalizing, taking an early lead, and looking for redemption. So Space Tech's going to have some work to do if he wants to prove that reputation and keep Delta Dietis even more competitive here.
Yeah. Now I would love to see exactly what happened there, but I'm like me trying to make sense of the chaos. I think JScript just barely clipped into the side. So Sanji Sama was already ahead just a little bit. JScript clipped into the side, and then, everyone's right behind JScript. There's your traffic jam, right? So it's a bit unfortunate. It seemed like that's essentially how it's happened most of the times that we've had the collisions there. So yeah, maybe you just got to take the outside line a bit more.
Yeah, and I just want to say how impressed I am with the camouflage of that 85X hiding on the underside of the platform here. JScript with a looking like JScript is taking over. Sanji was in the lead when we cut away, but maybe having some type of inversion issue. JScript, the Yodalorian, Space Tech, it's a very tight pack right now.
It is so far. This is the tightest pack that we've had the entire day. This is all four races pretty damn close to each other halfway through the first lap, which just really hasn't happened. Ooh, now, what we are a little concerned about is where we've seen most players jump off the side of, which is about to happen up here to the left right now. Looks like JScript is going to get through okay. Sanji Sama up next, followed by Yodalorian. Sanji is going to get through just okay as well. Same with Yodalorian.
And we just barely caught the side of it. Space Tech on that 180 turn on the tree on the backside did actually launch himself sideways, but was able to recover. Ooh, slight collision there. The Yodalorian. This is bumper cars
almost getting pushed off the edge there by Space Tech.
That's passing with authority there. Space Tech came up and said, you're in my way, and we're going to solve that the hard way.
True, like Space Tech was coming through very, very fast right at the end there before that collision.
Sanji Sama.
Oh, Sanji. Okay, we're
going vertical on that platform there.
Yeah, it was like on the sort of side, the blue section there, but Space Tech able to capitalize on that, and Space Tech now pushed all the way back into second place. in the first lap after that first collision, but all 4 of our races still very much close to each other. We can see SpaceX, Sanji, and Yodelarian about equidistant apart from each other. But of course, JScript are much further ahead.
Yeah, and that's 3 minutes 11 seconds with Liz Motorsports for our friend there, JScript, up at the beginning. Space Tech coming in, just looking for redemption. 3 minutes 20 seconds, 3:22 for Sanji. And yeah, we saw 3:25.
9 seconds in between Space Tech and JScript at the moment. And then, yes, I think I just saw Yodelarian possibly get in a collision. Hopefully not fall off the side.
Yeah, it looks like okay. Just clipped into something,
yeah.
Recovering.
Yeah, so a little bit
pretty
of
close together still
between Sanji and Yoda. Yeah.
Yeah. JScript leading ahead.
So got to be
some good separation we're seeing right now.
Yep. Now, if you're fighting for 5th place, the extra, like, you know, the fastest lap does have a lot more value to it. However, you know that fastest lap not only has to beat the 3:02 that was already set by Amarok's Fang, but it also has to beat the upcoming laps in the finals that Amarok's Fang, Punch Nomi's, Alpine, and Catcom are going to go for. Do you go for it?
And
I'm actually inclined to say you don't. I'm inclined to say maybe you just try to safely get the 5th position.
Yeah, we've seen a number of self-eliminations out there as racers are pushing really, really hard here. We see Sanji just with the transition there. It kind of bumps a little bit. That is all because of speed, right? You're pushing it super hard, and this is right where Sanji lost it before because, coming in with aggression, you have a collision, and just that little bit of extra speed sends you tumbling off the side. You got to be really careful about that. And I would say, right now you preserve for a 5th place finish. The difference between those 4 points versus 10. You know, that could mean a lot as we get down through the final stretches in this series. And Sanji getting rolled over the side, but in a safe moment here.
Yeah,
we see JScript and Space Tech pretty close.
Yeah, Sanji able to survive there for sure, but loses a ton of distance there. And Yodelarian right around. Yodelarian was going to try to capitalize on that, but unfortunately, they also end up slowing down. I don't know what's going on there with Sanji having some big problems with that tree. Get it out of the way. But yeah, now the Yodelarian on the attack, going to try to push into 3rd.
And we see JScript already on the final run into the finish line, completing lap 2. So completing that 180, wrapping it around, and trying to run a clean line here. We'll see what the official lap time looks like. As our we may lose our chase camera.
I was just about to say, look, camera, you might want to get out of the way because Space Tech is going to ram into you in a second. Luckily, they rammed into the tree instead.
16.
So, gotta be a little bit more careful. Oh no! Oh no!
Sanji!
Ah!
Oh, he holds on by the skin of his teeth.
I think he saved it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it looked like he had wheels on the platform, but that was very, very, very close.
Yeah.
Okay, Sanji's recovered, and we see the doomed camera ship off to the left. It looks like they were able to recover.
Yep.
The Yodelarian ahead. Sanji-sama coming in. Delta Diatus Space Tech coming in just behind JScript. We see them off to the right side. It is still a very close race. We're in lap number 3, so. We're going to have to see. They've got to run it cleanly. It is not secure for anyone at this point. As Space Tech currently with the fastest lap. And Space Tech on his side after that ramp. That has been a critical point here. JScript getting about 400-meter lead.
I was mentioning, right? You need to be careful on those ramps because you will just flip over sometimes if you don't take it at the right speed. Not too fast, not too slow. The right speed. If you take it too slow, obviously you're going to lose a ton of time. If you take it too fast, you're going to flip. So you've got to just figure out exactly where you're going. But Space Tech was on a big attack there on JScript, and now that distance has expanded, and we're on the final lap.
J-Script going off the platform.
That works too.
Getting launched there at the tree turn. It I was going to say J-Script had a little bit higher lead. Yeah, J-Script had a little bit faster lead. He had more distance ahead of Space Tech when we were coming into this turn onto this back leg, but something happened. He likely got inverted and was trying to recover, but could not pull it together. We'll have to see if we've got a replay on it, but that is an unfortunate finish for J-Script, likely with the DNF. Space Tech now in the lead and trying to hold on.
Yeah, this is going to be huge for Space Tech. Once again, this was the team that, of our finishers at the moment, they are right up there. They're second place at the moment, right? Second or third place at the moment, assuming that our other finishes are correct. So they really want to lock in this 5th place as much as possible. And at the moment, it looks like they're going to.
Yeah. Space Tech coming in for the final turn and the last stretch into the finish line. Looking like locking in the 5th place. That was really unfortunate. J-Script had it. He had it, but that tree turn on that back leg is a notorious killer. The Yodelarian there.
It certainly is.
And Sanji looks like he was just behind.
Once Space Tech crosses Dexter, that will be them finished. And there we go with a
and
fastest lap of 2
2:59.
minutes 59. That is our fastest lap at the moment. So Space Tech for Delta Dietis are going to pick up 5th place overall for today's race, but also at the moment, currently, our fastest lap. Huge.
Yeah, so that's 10, maybe 11 points if it holds 2 minutes, 59 seconds. Now, we did see a 2:58. That was with a bit of a track cut, so it did not count. The 2:59 likely going to stand. The Yodelarian coming in for their finish, 3 minutes, 9 seconds. So, yeah, we saw a little bit of action on the backside there as they were trying to run a clean run. And here we see Sanji Sama, 7th, 8th place. Coming in, earning those.
Look up.
Yeah.
So yeah, 3 minutes and 18 seconds for them. Very, very solid for Sanji Sama. Well done to our competitors. Very unfortunate for J-Script on lap number 3 to have that off the side. Here we go. We've got a little bit of a view of it here as we're following Space Tech at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
J-Script, I'm not even sure what happened there really. That is a very unusual place to fall off the side. I have to imagine one of those light collisions had to do with it, something like that.
Probably a poorly positioned planter box, but really that corner there, it's a tight collision geometry. It's a tight passageway, and you're trying to maneuver with a 180-degree turn on that backside. It has been notorious, and yeah, the poorly positioned planters.
It's what happens sometimes. Well, there we have it. Our runner-up finals is finished, ladies and gentlemen. We've got one more race for you, but our runner-up finals, meaning 5th place, is going to be Delta Dietis. 6th place is going to be the Yodelarian for Venture Origins. 7th place will be CRUSADER Racing, and 8th place will be at least Motorsports.
And we've got a new top fastest lap from Space Tech. So a bonus point on the board, at least. Something that we'll need to see our finalists work through. But based on the names, based on the performance we've seen so far, I'm not sure if that record's going to hold. Space Tech is going to be watching this race, trying to eke out that extra bonus point. And it's going to be a real nail biter. We've got our next crew working the lineup, but what are our thoughts? Who are our favorites between Circo Worm, Anreal, Shugo the Lucky One, or Titch86 for the finals?
After all of today's performances, it is hard not to think that Anreal is going to crush this one. An amazing performance in the first round that we ran today, as well as just absolutely crushing their heat. It is hard to imagine a world where we do not see Anreal cross the finish line first. However, Shugo not playing around. Shugo the Lucky One, 14 punch nomies. They had a fantastic performance the last 2 weeks where they had the back-to-back win, and then a very, very unfortunate appearance. It was 7th place, right, in the run that we had just before. So,
and
Shugo, I think, is
you've got to believe they're not happy with that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
you got to believe
It's
they're not
gonna
happy
light a
with that.
fire under you. So I think, yeah, it's going to be hard not to see Anril in first place here. At the very least, it's going to be extremely intimidating for the rest of our competitors, knowing that as well, Anril has to reclaim the best lap time, as that was just claimed by Delta Dietis.
Yeah, and as far as the points that are on the board right now, first place is going to get 25 points. Second is going to get 18. Third place is going to get 15, and fourth place is going to get 12. Three of these teams already in the top 5, top 4, really. Yeah, they need to lock this in. We may see some separation, or we may see that pack tighten up based on the placements in this final race of System 7, Race 2, Cloud Chaser platform.
Now, Red, if you're someone sitting at home, you might be sitting incorrectly, and that is my segue to talk about Monster Tech, another one of our fantastic partners here at Esports and the System 7 race. And I say that because I'm sitting on a Monster Tech chair right now, and it's really, really darn comfortable, and it says Mirai on it. And I think it makes me go faster. What do you have to say about Monster Tech?
You know what? Honestly, Monster Tech is making high-end sim rigs and mounting solutions for that elite level immersion and performance. And I got to tell you, ergonomics in a space sim like this are crucial, right? If you're using joysticks up on the desk, it's hard to position them properly. The Monster Tech mounts are easy to reposition and get right for your situation. And you talked about it. They've got flight chairs, mounting hardware, keyboard trays, and mouse trays. They've even got a customizer on the website to check your setup, see about a flight chair and any peripherals you want to attach to it. So.
Yeah, they've
Make
been
sure
absolutely fantastic.
if you are shopping.
Yep.
I was going to say, make sure if you're shopping at mtsim.com, use the discount code ATMO at checkout. Get some extra savings in there. And maybe your choice between the Anvil Paladin, what's the RSI one? There's an RSI one, and then the Mirai chairs. I'm partial to the RSI.
Well, the answer is there is no
Orion.
choice. No, the answer is there is no choice. Everyone should get the Mirai chair because it makes you race faster. Right? It's Mirai.
You know, it
must.
It is also red.
It is red.
It's hard to argue with that.
Yeah. But it has go fast stripes, according to our director.
Yeah. Now, I myself, I have a preference. I've got the RSI Orion, the RSI Arastra, my high-end mining ships. I feel like that's the chair I'm going to spend the most time in. But like you said, the Mirai goes fast. So, and with red,
it does.
You've got to.
Yep. All right, we've got our 2-minute countdown starting. So this is it. This is the final race of the day, guys. It's been a fantastic day so far. Let's finish it with a bang. Circa Worm from Catcom, Anril from Amarok's Fang, Sugar the Lucky One from Punch Nomies, and Tikch from Alpine Storm, all looking to compete for first through fourth place. All pretty happy that they are guaranteed first through fourth place for sure, but everyone wants those cheeky 25 points. This is race number 5. This is essentially the beginning of the end of the season. So wherever you want to fit, you want to be in the top 5 at the end of today if you want a real shot at getting the top 3 and an automatic invite back next year. So we'll see. This will be a big telling in how that happens.
And coming up, we've got race number 6 happening May 24th. That is the Bermuda Bay on Pyro 4. That's going to be about a 30-minute track on the Alpo Nox. And May 31st for race number 7, the finale at Volcano Lake on Faro, one of the Pyro 5 moons, in the RSI links with an hour and 26-minute track time. We're coming down on the countdown as we're ready to start the finale for race number 2. Technically fifth race we've completed here on System 7, Cloud Chasers. 30-second warning. Let's hear it in chat. Who is your favorite?
Done today. There's a lot of races. Okay, just forget numbers at some point.
Yeah. If you're voting for Circo Worm, Anril, Shugo the Lucky One, or Tikch from Catcom, Amarok's Fang, Punch Nomies, or Alpine Storm, it's happening now in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, very
And a
unfortunate for
collision right off
Circle
the
right off
bat.
the start. Into a tree, it looked like as well. Maybe just like barely touched it with the wheel that made them go
Ooh.
around. Ticked with a
And we see
couple of problems
Titch.
there, but mostly okay.
Yeah. Hitting a couple of speed bumps. Obviously, they'll want to maintain, not get too far off. We see Titch, Circo Worm, maybe overtaking Titch. Titch having some handling issues. Kind of
Now
surprising there.
notice both Anril and Shugo, and a lot of our competitors have not been doing this, going very, very wide around that tree on that first turn and just maintaining so much speed as they come around. They're just immediately back into it once they come into the straight here. So obviously a strategy that they've refined and has been working certainly for some of our competitors.
Yeah, and we see Anril out in front, Shugo the lucky one not far behind, Circo Worm coming in third, and Titch from Alpine Storm coming in fourth right now, having the handling issue right off the bat with an early collision. These racers are hungry. There's a lot of points on the board, so clean lines, a few collisions, managing that speed through this bottleneck over the ramp is going to be a real decision point. Anril looking like still ahead as we come to the far side. I hope we get a good view of this tree turn. This has been notorious throughout today. So,
yep, Anril has just been absolutely solid this entire day. Meanwhile, Circleworm and Shugo at the moment having a little bit of a fight for second and third. Anril with a solid recover, so maybe be a little like that's likely how we actually lost our player last race. So.
Circo Worm going a little wide, getting stuck. Anril. Titch on the backside also having some trouble. Looks like he's sideways next to a tree, but able to manage.
Certainly able
Anril leading.
Catch off some stuff there. Pretty solid first half of the race here and very quick so far. We'll see how Anril comes up here. Remember, the time to beat for best lap time today is 2:59.881. If you beat that time in this finals, you get an additional point. And we're getting to the point that really, really starts to matter.
Yeah, and we'll watch how Anril takes this corner. Keeping a little wide, losing some momentum there, but on that back stretch, trying to manage that. We see Shugo and Circo Worm right on top of each other.
Yeah, so for second and third place for first through third. Shugo losing a little bit more time on that turn as well. Circo Worm going to be right on behind them. So I imagine when
nearly
we get to the
rear-ended
further up. Yeah, nearly so. We've had quite a few of those today, actually.
That's real dangerous. Ooh.
A lap one for Anril that is 3 minutes pretty much on the dot. Almost 3 minutes 1 second. So that is huge. That's their lap one.
2:59.888 was the time to beat. That was 3 minutes, just 1 second behind fastest lap time. I think if Anril can keep this up, clean run, this could be what we see as the fastest lap here. It's just got to be clean, right? We've seen if you push too hard.
I think it's going to be a very similar situation to what we had with Gerbo last heat race, where it was kind of a situation of like, look, someone beat me, so now I've got to push it. I've got to go as hard as I can to bring back the time, right?
And here we see Titch from Alpine Storm making that corner, trying to finish out lap 2. So keeping on the board. As we see ahead, there's Anril looping into the back leg, so about a half a lap ahead. But we do see those headlights flipping around. It looks like Anril got sideways, so not a clean recovery. And
on the ground there somewhere, or I think it was maybe part of a Fury or something.
Yeah, it could be some debris. There's a lot of our camera operators here. It's these platforms and the struts they're navigating through. It's pretty tight areas. So. And Titch, again, struggling with the handling.
Yep. So we can see that Anril about halfway through the lap once again, just from the back there, as they're coming around here. This section that has claimed so many people over the course of the last couple of hours. Anril's going to make their way around. If we could have a look at Kakon and Punch Nomies, I would love to see just how far away we are at the moment with our competitors. So There we go. So Circa Worm quite ahead of Shugo at the moment. I think Shugo's had a lot of problems with the little ramp, right? From what we've seen. So
Yeah.
that's going to be a huge development there for Capcom.
Anril, Circle Worm, Shugo trying to get some separation. Anril's still been pretty close. We saw a little bit of separation there as he didn't have the cleanest run through the ramp on this out and back on that outer leg, but seeming to be on pace.
Yeah, we saw what it was 3 minutes, pretty much 3 minutes exactly. So I don't think this will be a fastest lap here for Anril. Sometimes the time is a little bit off. We'll see what happens in a second.
Okay, there we go. Anril coming around for the second lap. We'll see what the time looks like. Yeah, 3 minutes, 1 second, just 1 second behind fastest lap of the entire race so far.
So
really got to nail that.
Yeah, so that'll be a 3:04, 3:03. Yeah, so not going to beat their best time at the moment, but still incredibly fast and consistent.
Yeah, Capcom coming in here at 6 minutes 17. So Circle Worm not to be left out. We're gonna see where Shugo the Lucky One from Punch Nomi's lands up, and as we're into this final lap. These racers have got to hope some unforced errors out there. There's some good separation already, and yeah, we may be seeing positions solidify as they stand. Shugo the Lucky One at 6:44. Coming back in.
So Capcom has the tag at the moment. There is a world where Capcom maybe have the better run. We'll see what happens in a second. I'm kind of excited now to see them finish.
Yeah. So Anril there, and we see them just below here. How far away Capcom and Punch Nomi's are. Anril looks like it's on the route.
Here we go. So Circle Worm not too far behind Anril. And if they did, in fact, get their best lap last lap, then this makes a lot of sense because we did see them gain a lot of ground.
Yeah. They're not too far behind. And again, this corner here, we see Anril running pretty cleanly. It looks like Titch from Alpine Storm just completed lap 3 at 7:46. And here's Circle Worm, Anril, navigating that treacherous turn very skillfully. Shugo there, coming for the out and back on the outer leg. And party mark for Anril just right there at the edge. So looking pretty clean. We'll see how Anril's able to manage through the turn here. That hard left using those banks. We see Titch on the tree turn. After this is that first turn.
Yes. Yep. Look, this
clean.
Far into the end of the race, I think, barring any incidents, we're likely going to see Amarok's Fang cross the finish line here. But we have had quite a few problems with some people sometimes in the corner. So if we can swap to the Anril viewers, he's going to be coming around for his final straight now. Pretty uncontested. We'll see Circle Worm come around in a second here. There we go. That should be
is out in front.
Across the side. Yep. And Anril's going to take this one. It looks like Red Monster. I think we're going to see our first place finish and our winner of race number 5 for the System 7, securing themselves 25 cheeky little leader points. There we go. Well done.
There we go.
Amarok's Fang. And yeah, fastest lap was
3 minutes,
first lap of 3 minutes.
3 minutes, 0.8 seconds there. Circle Worm, we're going to see get an official count there. They are looking good as well. Now, Amarok's Fang coming into today, a little bit behind, but with a first place finish on race 1, Leisure Loop. Ooh, 259.3.
259.386. That is going to give them the fastest lap of the day. So they may come in second, but they pick up the cheeky little extra point.
Capcom's got to be happy about that. Getting a third place to start today. And second place overall. Punch Nomi's 3 minutes, 7 seconds fastest lap. for Gerbo the Gnome, and we will watch here as Titch rounds up the 4th position coming through, and yeah, that hard right turn into the bottleneck with the steps.
I will say, Titch for most of this race was actually really consistent. Just had a very, very rough first lap, and of course, the second that I say that, that happens. But they did. They've had a very
nose down
consistent
there.
race today. They just had a very unfortunate first lap that pushed them very, very far behind. But after that, they stuck to their guns and they had some solid laps. So well done to Alpine Storm. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be our top 4 for today. Amarok's Fang are going to pick up first place. Catcom are going to pick up second place. Punch Nomi's in third. And we are currently watching Titch cross the finish line in just a moment as they come around for the final straight here for Alpine Storm. Well done to all of our competitors today. And especially congratulations to our amazing top 4.
Yeah, congratulations, Anril with Amarok's Fang. You guys have to be super happy with that performance today. But not to be outdone, Circle Worm with Team Catcom coming up there with the fastest lap time. So coming up second, but still showing that consistency is key and getting that bonus point for fastest lap. Congratulations, Titch from Alpine Storm, getting some serious points on the board today with the 4th place, moving them up from 13th up to 25 total points. What a race. A clean one as well. Yeah. And congratulations there. It was competitive. It was mostly clean. There was the initial collision we saw.
No DNFs on the final.
And yeah, and kind of what we expect with these teams. Anril absolutely killing it with the fastest overall runs there, going to Catcom and Punch Nomi's, keeping that 3rd place, being competitive, but yeah, a little bit of a shakeup in the top 5, and a couple other teams bringing that gap in. As we see some acrobatics.
We appreciate the show. We appreciate the show. Well, now we're going to get the leaderboard ready for you guys in just a moment. A reminder though that when we do show you, there is going to be a big review, especially on race number 4, about there was a couple of issues that presented themselves, so we want to make sure everything's on the up and up. But assuming no issues, our leaderboard will be accurate. So we'll be able to show you that, guys, in a second. But sorry, just love it. It's like, oh, one person did it. Now I'm going to do it, and there goes the Pisces too. We're blowing up Crusader apparently.
And Circo Worm trying to make this Drake Mule useful, cleaning up that debris, landing it out there. The end of the race, it's got to feel good, right? The points are on the board, things are locked in. Obviously some reviews, but these teams have a lot more to look forward to. All right, we've got races 6 and 7 coming up still. Race 6 at Bermuda Bay on Pyro Fort with the Alpoa Knox with 29-minute, 14-second best lap time. This race features straight, smooth straightaways between island entry points out there on Bermuda Bay. That is coming up on May 24th, race number 6. We got the finish line, some checkpoints in between. And if I'm not mistaken, that will be it's our second it is our fastest at 224 meters per second top speed over those water-based on Pyro 4. Beyond that, you want to talk about race 7?
Yeah, race 7, we've removed the Lawville Loop. We're going to change it up a bit today. We're going to head to Pyro and we're going to the Volcano Lake. We're still going to be running 2 different vehicles for this one. We're going to be doing 2 laps, including a cool little Polaris bridge. This one should be a lot of fun as well. It's another bit of an endurance one. Should take us about an hour and a half, I believe, for us to complete this track. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you guys are here for that as well.
And that is being done with the RSI Lynx with a top speed of 36 meters per second. But, my experience with the Lynx is it is a very stable traveler. And, with those fast banks, scattered small lakes to navigate between, that stability is going to be important. Now, there is one section of that track that's impassable. Polaris Bridge, they're going to drive up and over through to get across. Have some
it's going to be an interesting. It's going to be an interesting dynamic. Certainly hoping that it all works out in our favor, but it's definitely going to be a first for Atmo having that kind of obstacle in there. So, yeah, we're gonna hope for the best for that one.
So, what have been your favorite moments from today's race? I'm going to start with mine. I think Sanji Sama going for the forward gainer off of the
Yep.
edge was, yeah, I think one of my favorites. It was unfortunate, but we saw it happen. It's one of the risks for this.
Yep. I think it has to be just the consistency of Anril. Anril, the Amarok's Fang are a team that we see a lot. Anril is a racer that we don't see as often within that team. And seeing Anril today just absolutely annihilate it in both races, just super, super consistent, super, super fast, has been awesome to watch. And that's what I really like to enjoy. I really like seeing some of these these peak races compete and just be unmatched. Like that entire race that we just had, there was like no point after about a minute that Anril was really being contested. So that's what I love to watch. So I love seeing that.
And Team Amarok's Fang really putting down consistent performances. 2 first place finishes today, second, third, and third place for races 3, 4, and 5. So really solidifying the bonus points at that top end of the scale, as you mentioned, the rebalancing of points based on positioning. What started for Punch Nomi's as a decent day, 2 first places on races 4 and 5, starting with a 7th place today. And, getting into the top 3, not too bad. I do think Space Tech from Delta Diatis is a little bit disappointed with the way that things played out for that semifinal there. Obviously some DNFs happening. We did see some, not as many spectacular explosions, but watching these Drake mules as they are trying to right themselves right off of these platforms was, it's heartbreaking for the racers, but it provides some exciting action for the viewers at home who are enjoying this System 7 series presented by Atmo Esports.
Yeah, it's my favorite time of the year is watching these races and commentating these races, and the competitors this year have certainly made it very entertaining so far. So I'm hoping that continues with our next 2 races.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
only a matter of time,
from
guys.
this
We should
point,
have our leaderboard. Yep, we should have our leaderboard pretty soon. Also, just so you guys know, something that we haven't mentioned yet today, but if you're an Atmo Esports fan, perhaps you're maybe like a Fight or Flight style fan, next weekend we have the Thrustmaster Solar Showdown. We've got 8 content creators and some community members coming in for a 2v2 dogfighting tournament in Arena Commander, which is going to be dope as hell. We have random loadouts. It's a double elim bracket. It's going to be a ton of fun. So make sure you guys come and check that one out. I believe I'll be commentating that one with our good friend Detox. So make sure you guys see you there and watch some of your favorite content creators win and some of your least favorite content creators die. That's the hope, right? That's the
yeah, that's always the benefit right there. Some well-deserved karma, but honestly, an exciting time is still to be had. Speaking of other exciting times, the Gravity Rush, don't forget the details there, opening up May 12th through June 14th for signups. Your time trials on scr.gg submitted between May 12th and June 16th. Gravity Rush being presented by Atmo Esports and Laser Litho Aerospace Racing. So a combination of Arena Commander, Persistent Universe races, to get that adrenaline pumping. Let's talk about some of those content creators that are participating in the Thrustmaster Solar Showdown. We've got Water Potate, Salty Meg, Carolinger, Lokin Plays, Bognagus, Zero State, Tarada, and Herbazita. So quite a selection of your favorites that are out there participating with this Solar Showdown.
I love watching Zero State do creator tournaments. I'm really excited to see Zero State do some more creator tournaments. He's just such a fun, he's really good, but then he's also a character. It's fantastic. That's the goal, right? That's what you want. Yeah. So there's gonna be a great group of people to watch, guys. So make sure you check it out next week on Saturday.
Now, I know we both we're pretty good friends with Salty Mike, but I've got to pick my favorite out of there as well.
I wouldn't say friends. I wouldn't say friends. Don't go that far.
Bognagus, the Mustache Rider crew, one of the nicest pirates you'll ever meet. I've had the opportunity to meet several of these content creators, but Bognagus is always the one that leaves the best impression with me, and I'm excited to see how he does.
Yeah, 100% the same. So yeah, we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. We swear we're trying to live update the leaderboard for you guys, so we have something to show you. As you know, we did just do 2 races. There have been some big changes today to the scale and the trying to think of the word, like the nature of the tournament now. You know, we have 2 races left.
Yeah.
If you are not in the top 5 right now, you are in a rough spot, to say the least, and you're going to want to sort of try to make sure you can probably go for a double win. I think that's what a couple of our teams are going to be looking at after today.
And there are going to be teams that, because of only 2 races remaining, are mathematically eliminated from that top 5. But that doesn't mean that you can't go out and try and put yourself in the middle of the pack. There are still bragging rights, even if you don't get first place. We saw that with Ponza from Drunken Turtle, who's I think that was also one of my other favorite moments from today. Finishing the track on foot after his Drake Mule landed almost off the entire platform, but saved himself on a lower platform, but just not able to recover that vehicle back up to the main level. Choosing to finish it out on foot and at least get the reputation out there, get the dedication to finish the track one way or another, hell or high water. Drunken Turtle Racing with Ponza giving us a show.
Yep. Now, I don't want to, I'm not going to spoil anyone, but I'm going to tease everyone a little bit. I can see the results right now as we update the little graphic for you guys. And this is a really interesting points total. And it looks like it's convenient timing because it looks like we're just about ready for it. So let's get that leaderboard up there, guys, and have a look at this absolutely insane development. Amarok's Fang at 98 points. After race number 5, that is wild. That is an incredible amount of points. Punch Nomi's 83 points, pretty close behind them.
Yeah, and we've got a tie for 3rd and 4th place between Delta Diatus Racing and Catcom, right? We see that's going to be some competitive action there. Blackhawks with number 5 at 43 points, but look at the point spread between 6th and 10th place. 26 points, 25 points, 25 points, 22, and 21. That is going to be CRUSADER Racing, Alpine Storm, Sire Racing, List Motorsports, and Venture Origins coming in for the middle.
Yeah, this story that we had that I mentioned right at the start of today of Delta Diatus trying to get into the top 3, now fighting for a draw at the moment with Catcom, also a team who, looking to jump into the top 3. So this is going to be a really big fight. Also, of course, we had Blackhawks. We had that DQ earlier that has meant that they haven't pushed up really any further at all and put them much further away. So they're going to have to really perform over the next 2 series if they want to top 3. There are some big fights here for the top 3 and the top 8. Wow, today changed a lot.
And honestly, that positioning for 3rd place between Delta Diatus and Catcom really comes down to Space Tech with the DNF in his round. That was very unfortunate, and they're tied right now. But yeah, Amarok's Fang pulling out significantly ahead. I'd say positions 1 through 4 are really competitive there. A good margin for those teams. So they can maybe rest a little bit, but I wouldn't discount them entirely. They're going to be really competitive going into races 6 and 7. Now that middle of the pack, Blackhawks, Kuroda, Alpine Storm, Sire, Liz, and Venture, they're hungry, right? They want to establish themselves with some turnaround. If they're able to lock things in and have a little bit of bad performance from Delta Diatus, Catcom, some of those in the other top 3. They have a shot at a top 3, but the numbers are kind of lining out the way they are right now. And I think the pack is starting to separate a bit, and we see some of those really consistent performances from Amarok's Fang paying off in spades. Almost 100 points right now at the end of race 5.
Yeah, very important to note, Catcom getting that fastest lap at the end of there with the 2:59.38. I told you it would matter. and it has mattered, right? That is what has put them onto the tie with Delta Dietis Racing. So these additional points, these additional 1 points, really will matter over the course of the entire series. And we only have 2 races left. And oh my god!
Now imagine.
What a series. Now, I do have to very quickly once again mention there is a big caveat with the current leaderboard, is that we do have to do a big review of race number 4 to make sure everything was a-okay, as there was a couple of issues that we encountered during that race. This leaderboard and these numbers are assuming that everything was okay with that, but these are not final. The final numbers will be put up on all of our socials.
Yeah. And look out for this as they are finalized. And again, what a great day. 2 races, 2 events, 2 tracks, but yeah, seven races total. The first one, all 16 racers out there with the Great Cat STV for 8 laps on the Leisure Loop. And then back here for 6 heats on Cloud Chaser's platform. 3 laps each with the Drake Mule. And we saw some amazing DNFs as these racers plunged to the depths of Crusader and its cloudy atmosphere.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that's going to be it from us here at Atmo Esports. Thank you very much, everyone, for hanging out. We appreciate it a ton. Thank you very much to our competitors and to all of the staff for everything you guys do. It was absolutely fantastic. We appreciate it a ton. Red, anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, no, it's been a great opportunity here to watch all these racers put down respectable times, earn some points for the System 7. I'm excited to see what races 6 and 7 are going to do. Those are coming up May 24th, as well as May 31st, as we see those run for the final. You got 98 points up at the top. Those folks, yeah, a lot of points out there to be had still, but I'm excited to see how it goes.
Sounds good. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Happy Mother's Day to everyone, because it's 9:24 a.m. on Sunday here. So happy Mother's Day to everyone. And we will see you guys in 1 week time, actually. Have a good one.
Yeah.